Okay, we are live. Let's wait for a few people to show up before we get into it. I don't think I'll be on long. Just for half hour, maybe an hour, I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. But yeah, just got done watching the boxing on BT. Mainly mismatches, to be honest. But the fight between Garton and Chris Jenkins, that was quite good. Chris Jenkins pulled off an upset. So that was nice to see. But yeah, I was fairly impressed with Daniel Dubois. I felt he made some good improvements from the Kevin Johnson fight. I think he learned a lot in that fight, actually. He was a lot more aggressive against Cojanu. I enjoyed the way he was working the body, and his variety in general was a lot better. So I think that Kevin Johnson fight done Daniel Dubois the world of good, and he's definitely learned from it. So that's the main thing, really. And yeah, I was impressed with Daniel Dubois. Looked strong, looked powerful, and yeah, looked like he's improved. He's certainly improved from his pro debut, Daniel Dubois. I'm still not fully convinced by any means, but I think he's coming along quite nicely, to be honest. So yeah, I was impressed with Dubois. Certainly looked a lot better against Cojanu than Parker and Gorman. And yeah, he got the job done. It's going to be interesting to see where they match him next, actually, because obviously you don't want to take too much of a step up, but people now are going to start to want to see Dubois going through the gears and going through, higher levels of competition. And yeah, I really want to see that fight with Nathan Gorman. I mentioned on stream the other day, before this Cojanu fight, I make Dubois a favourite, and I still believe that now. I still think Dubois he's a favourite over Nathan Gorman. Not by much. I think it's a close fight. But if I had a gun to my head and had to pick, I think I would pick Dubois. I think Dubois offensively is better. Better punch technique, more power, better combinations, better body puncher. Gorman maybe is more technically sound in terms of he's got better movement, I think, and he's more fluid. But I think Dubois may be a bit too strong for him, but we'll see. Apparently, well, according to Frank Warren, that fight's going to happen sooner rather than later, so we'll soon see if we believe Frank Warren. But yeah, I was impressed with Daniel Dubois. Really, a pleasant surprise, to be honest. And we also obviously had Anthony Yarde do his thing as well. Workmanlike performance. Um, some good power punches. He was patient. Good shot selection. Some glimpses of real quality. But Yarde, he got hit a bit. It's hard to gauge how good Yarde is. It's hard to gauge if he's made any improvements, to be honest. We're only going to find out when Yarde steps up. I have my doubts personally. I do have my doubts, but listen, he does have some potential. He does have some talent. Yeah, Wilder is terrified of AJ. You don't think Warren rates Gorman? I can see that, and I think he's confident Dubois does the job. I think it's a good fight, to be honest. The way I see it, I know they're two prospects, but I like to see prospects fight. To me, it just kind of just signals real ambition, and ultimately, If two prospects are world class and have world class potential, regardless of the result of that fight, they will both go on to have good careers. So let's get it on. Make the fight. Make it happen. But I would favour Dubois, personally. I think he's coming along nicely. Since his pro debut, I think he's come on a long way. I still wouldn't put him up there with Hrgovic or Jagba, but, he's a good prospect. Lewis Hurley, how you doing, mate? Do you mean Dubois looks good? Or do you mean Gorman looked good in his suit? But yeah, no, Dubois looked good, man. He looked really good. That's the best I've seen Dubois. I know a couple of shots were low. When he knocked out Cojanu, yeah, a couple of shots strayed low, but all in all, yeah, Dubois looked the part. He just seemed more aggressive. He really had the bit between his teeth, and I enjoyed what I saw, to be honest. Who would you match Dubois in with next? Obviously, he's not fighting Gorman next. Who do you think a good name is for Dubois? He's just fought Kevin Johnson and Cojanu. Who next? Would you risk a Spilka type? I think Spilka's very beatable. Bit chinny as well, so I think maybe Spilka for Dubois next. But Spilka, you'd have to pay a lot of money because he gets paid well over in Poland. Maybe Spilka would be a bit too much of an ask, but CMD Boxing Reports, how you doing, mate? Do you think Yarde is ready for Kovalev? I don't personally. You never know. Maybe he'll make the jump up in competition, but that's a massive step up. It really is. Massive step up. And I don't like the way Yarde, that shoulder roll defense to me when Yarde uses it, it's very open. I've seen Yarde get caught with that right hand over the top on quite a few occasions, on many occasions, and that is one of Kovalev's best shots. To me, Yarde looks very open for that right hand. I don't like his shoulder roll defense. I don't like the way he carries that low left. I think Kovalev would find the openings, to be honest. But you never know. I mean, Yarde can punch. He does have decent speed, so if he lands one, who knows? And yeah, Wilder is terrified of AJ. That's how I see it. There's just something not quite right with Yarde. It's like something's missing, whether it's his chin, his gas tank, or heart. Yeah, there's something that's not there that they're hiding. That's what it looks like from the outside, anyway. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe Yarde is the best kept secret in boxing, but something just doesn't add up. And I'm not being harsh on Yarde. I try to be fair. Ultimately, if you look at it in context, the guy started boxing at 19, and for a guy who's been boxing for less than 10 years, and for a guy who's been who's not really had many fights, he is very talented. He's a natural, but you've also got to look at it in context and say, well, he's number one ranked in the WBO, and his team are saying he's going to fight for that title very shortly. So, we can be critical. And the thing is, if Yarde and his team said, do you know what? We're going to take it really slowly because of a lack of amateur background, and they're just honest about it, I'd accept it. I'd have no problem with it. But the fact they're saying they're going to fight Kovalev very shortly and things of that nature, yeah, I will judge them to a higher standard when they say things like that. That's only fair. And yeah, Spilka, Lewis Hurley, I think that'd be a good name. And yeah, Hellenius as well. That's a good name for Dubois. Big guy, he can punch. Yeah, coming off a good win against Tepper. Yeah, Hellenius would be a good name for Dubois. Be a bit of a risk, but it will tell us a lot. But yeah, Dubois seems quite confident. He seems like he's ready to kind of go through the gears, step up a bit. Maybe who else is there for Dubois? I mean, would you put him in there with Marius Wack? But I think Marius Wack's fighting soon. Actually, he's fighting Bacoli, so no, you can't do that. But yeah, Marius Wack, somebody like that would be ideal. But there's plenty of guys out there you could match Dubois with. To be honest, there's no rush. Just get him in there with different styles, different problems, and he'll develop. Yeah, I'd love to see that, Lewis, to be honest. Get that Gorman fight as soon as possible. That's a great fight. I'm really sold on that fight. I want to see it. Like I said, I make Dubois a favourite, but Gorman certainly has a chance. Certainly has a chance. And yeah, Hellenius for either guy down the line, yeah, I'd be more than happy with that. It's going to be interesting to see who goes further out of the two. Two good prospects, in my opinion. I mean, just trying to think of other names for Dubois and Gorman. I know Gorman's fighting soon. Gorman's fighting on the Leicester card. He's fighting a guy called Fabio Maldonado, and Fabio Maldonado was a MMA fighter who actually fought in the UFC a few times. I think he fought Rampage Jackson actually, and that's the guy Gorman's fighting next. Maldonado actually has a good record. It's like 26-1, but he's fought nobody. And the guy who beat him was Oscar Rivas, and that was on points. So the only guy to beat Maldonado was Rivas, but that is the only guy he's fought of any consequence. And Rivas beat him on points from memory. But yeah, Gorman's fighting Maldonado next. I don't think Maldonado will test him at all. Maldonado just has like a pretty record, to be honest. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to seeing how Gorman looks. Gorman's a weird one because one fight he'll look, really on it. He'll look really good, but the next fight he looks flat. He looks kind of workmanlike. He's kind of inconsistent. Yeah, I think Gorman does have some natural talent. He's got quick hands for a guy of his size, and he can like throw combinations. But I just don't know what it is. To me, he just like it's just hit and miss with Gorman. To me, Dubois is just a bit more consistent. He delivers his shots technically very well, maintains his balance fairly well. He's a bit rigid at times, but he's improved on that. He's not quite as predictable and basic as he was when he first started. I think there's a bit more variety now with Dubois, which is good. Another good fight for the winner of Gorman Dubois, or maybe even next would be the winner of Dave Allen and Lucas Brown, but that's not going to happen. If Dave Allen beats Lucas Brown, he's going to be on Sky, so you're not going to get Dubois versus Allen anytime soon. Maybe if Lucas Brown wins, you could see Dubois versus Brown. But if Allen wins, Allen's not going to fight off Sky Sports. But anyway, as in regards to Anthony Yarde, I mean, what do we think? I mean, I wouldn't be mad if we got the Kovalev fight next, just to see what we have with Anthony Yarde. I personally think he'll lose. I think he'll get knocked out, but it would at least give us an idea of where Yarde is at. To be honest, but I think Richie Woodall kind of nailed it. I kind of want to see Yarde in with a top 10 light heavyweight, not a champion, but a guy ranked in the top 10. So, for example, Joe Smith Jr. would be a really good opponent. Like, even if he loses to Bivol, Joe Smith Jr. versus Anthony Yarde, that'd be a great fight. A risky fight because Joe Smith can punch, but, that fight would tell us a lot about Anthony Yarde. I heard Jean Pascal mentioned for Anthony Yarde. I know Pascal is shot to bits, but still a step up from Yarde's previous fights. Lewis Hurley, he says Dubois against Allen wouldn't be safe. You're probably right, to be fair. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, especially if Allen doesn't take it seriously. And yeah, I mean, Joe Smith Jr., I mean, he's no gimme. He's a tough guy. He can punch. Yarde's certainly not guaranteed to beat him. But that's a fight I'd love to see. It's a fight I think that fight would tell us a lot about Anthony Yarde. There's fights out there for Yarde. His team just seemed to be reluctant to take them. There's plenty of guys at light heavyweight that would be good tests. Even at the domestic level. I mean, guys like Bob Ajisafe or Hosea Burton, people like that, they'd be fine. I didn't actually see the ring walk for Anthony Yarde. Or did I? Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Phil Collins, wasn't it? But yeah, it was a bit cringe. Yeah, no, I agree, Lewis. I think the light heavyweight division is far too strong, and Yarde will do very well to become a champion right now. I don't think he's the UK's best hope to win a title at 175. I think that goes to Buatsi, to be honest. I think Buatsi is just more advanced. Offensively, he's better, and he just looks the real deal. I'm not saying Yarde's bad. I'll keep on going back to it. I think Yarde, for a guy who started late, is very talented, but I just think he needs more time, and I worry he's not getting the right fights at the right time. Actually, today against Travis Reeves, he showed a couple of signs of real quality. So, I mean, the punch that kind of started the end of Travis Reeves, the right hand that rocked him. I liked how Yarde, he kind of he leant back, made Travis Reeves miss, and he kind of followed up with a right hand, like a nice counter right hand, and that was a really good shot. The way he leaned back, drew in Reeves, and then countered with a right hand. That was a really good shot. That showed ability, that showed potential, that showed quality. Yarde does have talent, but it's just whether he's getting the right fights. A 54 trail swan, good question. How come we haven't had an ITV PBC card in a while? We didn't get the Tank Davis fight, the Lara fight, and now we're not getting the Porter fight. Will we get Spence versus Garcia? Spence versus Garcia is now showing on ITV4 on the schedule, so I think we're getting that. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. Sorry, that we're not getting Porter Ugas because that's a decent little fight. It's not the fight we want to see at welterweight, but Ugas deserves his shot. He's tricky, he's awkward, he can box. That's a decent fight. Did Porter make weight, Cop End 09? I don't know. I've not actually paid any attention to the weigh-in. I'm going to quickly do a quick Google. Sean Porter. I like Sean Porter, by the way. Oh, it says he's overweight. That was 2 hours ago. I don't know, actually. Did he make the weight? I'm just trying to find out. Okay, so he missed weight, had 2 hours to make the weight, and to try and make the weight, he had an impromptu haircut, cut his braids off. So he initially weighed in at 148.8 pounds. Okay, he didn't lose his belt on the scale. He made it in the end, but yeah. Yeah, he made weight in the end. But yeah, Sean Porter, he used to be a heavy guy, so it's not surprising. But yeah, I like Sean Porter. To me, he's just a class act. I've always liked Sean Porter. Just comes across really well. And I think as a fighter, he's underrated, to be honest. Porter's not just this like a bull rusher and a brawler. He's a bit more than that. He does have a good jab. He does have actually really quick feet. Um, decent on the inside. He can smother you, stop you doing your work, but he can get his own work off. I think Porter's better than people give him credit for. And yeah, I just like I just Porter's one of those fighters I just root for. Just comes across really well. Guilty Simpson, he's pulling for UGAS. Yeah, UGAS has actually been a good story because he obviously was a really good amateur, bronze medalist in the Olympics, suffered a few defeats early on, but he's rebounded really well. He's got a couple of good wins over unbeaten prospects. He beat Jamal James, for example. He also beat Thomas Delorme, who's like a fringe contender. So he's coming off some good form. He's put some wins together, and he deserves his shot. And it's nice to see another fighter get a shot in the welterweight division because I think sometimes the welterweight division can be, it can be guilty of kind of recycling the same names. But UGAS is a fresh name, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hang on, is Crawford versus Conor pay-per-view on BT? I saw something on BT, but I didn't really pay attention to it. Is that a pay-per-view? I'm certainly not paying for it. I think BT's pay-per-views so far have actually been spot on. Obviously, Golovkin, Canelo 2, Warrington versus Frampton, and Wilder versus Fury. All of the pay-per-views so far have been spot on, but Khan versus Crawford, not for me. Guilty Simpson, Ajagba looked huge and ice cold in the face-off. Yeah, he's a big old boy, much bigger than Mansour. Taller, longer, fresher. Yeah, Mansour, I think he's getting knocked out. Yeah, I like it as well, Lewis Hurley. I like quite a few Porter performances. I really enjoyed his performance against Devon Alexander. I thought that was a great performance. The performance against Paulie Malignaggi was brutal, just ran through Paulie. That was a terrible fight for Paulie, though. Terrible style matchup. But the way he just ragdolled Malignaggi was brutal. That's a really good performance. And I felt he actually boxed quite well against Garcia. I felt he just about edged that fight. I know that fight is kind of controversial, but I felt Porter just about won it. Yeah, Lewis Hurley, he says Porter's his favourite welterweight. I like Porter, man. Yeah, I don't blame Curtis Harper. FA looks like a problem, he does. Just seems to have all the natural ingredients you want out of a heavyweight. Tall, long, can punch, good shape. Does the basics quite well. If you add a few bells and whistles to him, he could be a problem. How do you 54 Trail Swan? How do you think guys like Prime Koto, Margarito, Mosley, Tim Bradley, Zab Judah, etc., do against Spence, Furman, Porter, DSG? Good question. I think So like Prime Koto and Mosley would give those guys all they can handle. Um, as would Margarito. I think that I certainly think they pick up wins, to be honest. I don't think the welterweight division is it's a good division, obviously, but I don't think it's quite as strong as people make out. Okay, Guilty Simpson. Golovkin signing for 6 fights tells me he isn't fighting Andrade first. Probably Rosado slash Selecki winner, or who else? Yeah, maybe Selecki. I think Selecki will beat Rosado. I wouldn't be too mad at Selecki versus Golovkin at all, to be honest. I think Selecki is a good fighter. And Golovkin, by the time he gets back in the ring, it's going to be June. So that's quite some time out of the ring. I think Selecki is an acceptable comeback opponent. Selecki's pretty decent. Someone's putting a spam link in the chat. We'll remove that shit. Get out of here, you scumbag. Shepherd of Sons, how you doing, mate? They beat the shit out of current gen with no VADA testing. You're probably right, mate, to be honest. Probably right. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see some of those guys in today's era. Sorry. Lewis Hurley, it pisses me off we didn't get Porter versus Spence after the Danny Garcia fight. I thought that was the fight we'd get. Yeah, man, I'd love to see that fight. I actually think Porter would give Spence quite a lot of problems, to be honest. I think he'd do a good job of smothering a lot of Spence's work, but I still think Spence would see it through. I think Spence is he's physically strong, and I think he'll get the job done. But that's definitely a tough fight for Errol Spence. Josh Taylor versus Spence Jr. Yeah, man, I'd watch it. I think Taylor will eventually end up at welterweight. I think they are similar fighters. I think Josh Taylor, he's similar to Errol Spence. I've said that in the past. Only just realised Callum Johnson is fighting. Yeah, there's been no push at all, and yeah, he should beat Shawnee Monahan. To be honest, Monahan, he's a tough guy, and he actually fought quite well against Barrera last time out. But Monahan is limited. He is limited, and yeah, Callum Johnson should win. What you'll see there, Eddie's plan is obviously Bivol to beat Smith, Callum Johnson to beat Sean Monahan, and what you'll see is Bivol versus Callum Johnson next. I think that's what you'll see. Spence versus Hurd at 154. Who wins? That's a good fight. Spence can certainly make the weight jump. Spence is a massive welterweight, but Jarrett Hurd is a monster super welterweight. It's a tough fight for Spence. I do think it's winnable. I think Spence is a much better boxer. I think Spence is more technically sound. But it's just the size of Jarrett Hurd. I think Spence could do it. I think Spence would edge it out. '54 Trail Swan. I think Porter's chin is deteriorating. He got rocked by Garcia. He did, yeah. And maybe it is. You could be right. He's getting older. Continually cutting weight isn't good for your chin, and getting hit a lot isn't good for your chin. So maybe Porter, maybe he is kind of deteriorating now. But yeah, I still think he's got a couple of years left. If Porter versus Furman had a rematch, I'd be confident in Porter getting the job done. Yeah, I think I would favour Porter right now, to be honest. There's people out there who felt Porter won the first fight. I felt it was very close. I felt it was razor close. Could have gone either way. You know, nobody's beaten Porter decisively. I don't care what Sky Sports said. Kell Brook versus Porter was very close. I think Jim Watt, if memory serves, Jim Watt actually scored that fight for Sean Porter. You wouldn't get that now on Sky Sports. You know, scoring against the home fighter or the Sky fighter. Or how long do you give Sky until they call it quits on boxing? I don't think they're going to call it quits anytime soon. Not while they've got like Joshua on pay-per-view. I still think they'll keep on investing, but do you believe when Adam Smith says he's not happy with the quality? Do you believe him? Or do you think he's just, you know, telling the fans what they want to hear? I don't think I don't know, man. In the long run, I would like to zone in the UK. I've got to be honest about it. Cheaper boxing to me sounds good. I mean, in America, you get basically you get to see Canelo versus Jacobs for $10. And listen, I'm not in America, so I'm not telling Americans what to buy by any means. But to me, that seems like a no-brainer. The amount of money Sky Sports costs, you know, BT Sports, all adds up. It's really expensive, and when you can see the likes of Joshua, Canelo, you know, people like that for $10 a month, to me it just almost sounds too good to be true, to be honest with you. And yeah, man, it just seems like a good deal. Guilty Simpson, Spence kills Munguia. I think Munguia would be tough, but yeah, I mean, defensively, he'd give Spence all of the openings in the world. And yeah, I'd pick Spence to beat Munguia. Munguia can still improve, though. He's only, what, 22 years old, 23? Munguia's still got improvements to make. I like how Munguia is staying active. I know the competition level isn't great, but, you know, he's staying active, and that's always good. It's just whether he can make the improvements to get to that next level. '54 Trail Swan, I think Eddie Hearn is done with the UK, especially if White goes to ESPN. Who else can headline? Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, the UK cards on Sky are getting bad. The regular Sky Sports cards, anyway, are getting really bad. The quality has dropped. You know, you see guys like Callum Johnson getting shipped out to America, when in reality they should be fighting in the UK. I mean, we should be getting the likes of Callum Johnson versus Buatsi, you know, but Callum Johnson's out in America fighting Shawnee Monahan. No disrespect to Shawnee Monahan, but I don't care about that, to be honest with you. I'd rather see Johnson in the UK fighting domestic rivals, because he's had a shot at a world title. He came up short. Start back down to domestic level and go again. But it is what it is. Yeah, Munguia does have a great style. He's great to watch. His fight with Inoue was really good. You know, the Japanese fella. That's a really good fight. I've never seen a Japanese fighter just like lay down. They always come to fight. Put a Japanese guy in there with a Mexican guy. That's going to be a great fight. Every single time. Is it plausible to think Kerman Lejaraga could be a world champion? I think he could beat a Broner or a Jesse Vargas. I mean, he can punch hard. You never know. If a belt becomes vacant, I could see him picking one up. Do I think he can beat any of the current champions? Like Furman, Spence, Porter? I don't think so right now. I think Kerman would have to, you know, have a perfect opportunity kind of thing, you know, vacant title against a lesser contender. But I still think he'd beat guys like, he could beat guys like Jesse Vargas, no doubt about it. I think he could beat Broner, like you said. He's a good fighter, Lajaraga. Favorite welterweight fights you've seen? Yeah, De La Hoya versus Mosley was a good fight. I have to admit, one of my favorites was Margarito Cotto, the first fight. I know, obviously, people say Margarito was cheating, and that's fair enough. He probably was, but still, that fight was tremendous. Tremendous fight. You know, fight of two halves. You could tell, yeah, Cotto was winning after six, but you could tell the energy was draining round after round after round, and it comes to the point where just Cotto just broke, and Margarito just took him out, made him take a knee. Just a great fight, dramatic fight. That's a great welterweight fight. Um, yeah, man, great fight, and obviously Cotto got his revenge, which was nice to see. Cotto was involved in some good fights. He was. I think he's a bit underappreciated, to be honest, Miguel Cotto. I think I said it on a stream the other day. I think Cotto, obviously, the last few years, he kind of turned into a bit of a diva, but he'd earned that. I think people forgot what he did before that. He fought a lot of good fighters: Zab Judah, Mosley, Margarito, Mayweather, Martinez. He fought a lot of good fighters. The Torres fight as well. Uh, yeah, he fought good fighters. Yeah, Porter versus Furman, another good welterweight fight. And yeah, I agree. I think that was the best welterweight fight in recent years. In fact, that's the best welterweight fight I would say since maybe Victor Ortiz versus Berto, the first fight. That was a good fight. That's when Ortiz kind of redeemed himself for a moment, because before that Ortiz quit against Maidana, and yeah, that fight with Berto kind of, it kind of saved his reputation for a couple of years until he fought Floyd. And then after that, Ortiz went downhill. Meldrick Taylor versus Aaron Davis, underrated welterweight fight. What would it take for you to become interested in women's boxing? Will you watch Shields versus Hammer? I'll be honest, I very much doubt I'll watch it. And I don't know. I don't know. Every time I watch it, it just doesn't do anything for me. Maybe that's the sexist in me. I don't know, but it just doesn't really do it for me, to be honest. And I can't sit here in front and say I like it, because if I did, I'd cover it. But it's just not for me, to be honest. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. They should have the opportunity, but just I'm not a fan, to be honest. Not a fan. The issue I have with it is, like, I think women's boxing becomes, it's like a cheap way for a promoter to fill a card. Stick a Katie Taylor world title fight on a card. Oh, this card's got a world title fight. Well, yeah, it has, but it hasn't. I mean, it's a cheap way to kind of stack up cards, and I think promoters have realised that, to be honest. And I'm getting a bit bored with women's boxing, kind of being rammed down our throats. It's not really natural growth. I mean, women's MMA, I don't know why that's successful. Maybe the promotion of it was more natural, was more gradual, and not quite as forced. But to me, women's boxing seems very forced. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Mark Breland versus Marlon Starlin. Yeah. What's up with Berto? He was so highly regarded, but then started taking L's. Yeah, Berto to me was never like a great boxer, but Berto was a great athlete. Physically very strong. He could punch. He had hand speed. I think one of the issues for Berto was, he kind of came on the scene He won a title and he was fighting on HBO against absolute nobodies. And maybe he never really developed the way he should have. Um, because he was one of Al Heyman's favorites way back in the day. And that's when Al Heyman really kind of people really started to become aware of Al Heyman when Berto was champion, because HBO even addressed it. I think was it Max Kellerman? He addressed Al Heyman and basically asked the question: was Al Heyman good for fans? He's good for fighters, getting them paid for fighting lesser competition. But was Al Heyman good for boxing? Was he good for fans? And that was in what 2009, 2008, and we're still asking the same question. Yeah, Floyd versus Cotto was a good fight. He gave Floyd a tough fight. He won. I think I scored at 8 rounds to 4 for Mayweather. Yeah, women's MMA just seemed more natural. Just the growth of that sport just seemed more natural. I don't know. I don't know whether the fans are different in MMA. Maybe they're more accepting of it. I don't know, but because I can watch a women's MMA fight and enjoy it. Like I'm a super casual MMA fan. I don't know hardly any fighters, but sometimes I'll sit down and watch it. And I've watched women's MMA fights and thought to myself, yeah, this is decent. But I've never sat down and watched a women's fight in boxing and said, I like this, I enjoy this. Just doesn't do it for me. How would you sum up Paul Williams' career? That's a very good question, to be honest. The thing that always strikes me about Paul Williams was his style. Obviously he was super tall for a welterweight, really tall, really long, but you'd see him slug it out in the phone booth, totally neglecting his physical advantages. You never really saw Paul Williams get behind a jab or, keep it long. Just he'll try and brawl with you and out tough you. And I don't know, man. I just felt Paul Williams' career, his career obviously got cut short as well, which was a shame. I wish we saw Paul Williams in with the likes of Mayweather. Would Paul Williams have given Mayweather problems? I think that would have been a good fight. Where do I rank Floyd in my all-time pound-for-pound lists? I don't have a list, mate. I wouldn't know where to put him. I'd need to make one. Kuzmin versus Jerry Deweko, rounds prediction. What round does Kuzmin get the KO? Deweko is fairly durable, to be fair. He's a good survivor. Defensively, he's fairly sound. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if Deweko goes the distance, but I think Kuzmin will get a late stoppage. But yeah, Deweko, he knows what he's doing. Deweko's a good journeyman at heavyweight. Best journeyman fights of all times, not named Gatti Ward. Ooh. It's a good question, actually. I know Emmanuel Augustus was involved in a few. I've never seen Junior Yunan fight before. I've seen Derek Findley quite a few times, but never seen Junior Yonan. I think Granados versus Danny Garcia. It's going to be a fun fight. Granados very durable, good punch output, awkward style, can be a bit dirty. Yeah, potentially he could give Danny problems. If he can get on the inside, I think he'll give Danny problems. I don't think Danny likes it on the inside. We saw that against Herrera. But maybe Danny could be the first guy to knock out Granados. You know, Granados has taken quite a lot of punishment in recent fights, and maybe Danny can crack his chin. Pacquiao versus Marquez in 2012. That's the best welterweight fight of this decade, in my opinion. Forgot about that one. Yeah, that was a great fight. That was a great fight because, you know, at one point in that fight, Pacquiao was looking as good as he's looked for like quite some time. He obviously got dropped, but he dropped Marquez as well. Marquez was getting busted up, and Marquez pulled that punch and, you know, got the knockout. Roy Jones fighting Vitor Belfort. Good, yeah, good God. That's the best way to describe it, mate. Good bloody God. Yeah, I saw that, John 99. Yeah, Porter missing weight by almost 2 pounds. He made it in the end, I guess. That's the main thing. Mr. Doc, what do you think of Porter's prospects if he has to fight at 154? Um, I don't think he'd do too well. I think he doesn't really have the physical dimensions. I don't think that strength and that style of kind of swarming would work at 154. I don't think he's big enough or strong enough to pull it off. Porter might have to adjust his style. On the come up, Porter actually boxed a lot more. He wasn't like the brawler he is now. He boxed a lot more on the come up. Maybe he'd need to go back to his boxing and kind of have like a hybrid style between the two, working on the inside, maybe boxing as well. You know, he'd have to rely on more boxing if he went up. I agree, Levi Khan. Fowler, he is going to knock out Fitzgerald, unfortunately. He'll take him out. Fitzgerald has already struggled with journeyman. Who did he get dropped against? Was it Adam Jones? And he struggled in one of his last fights as well against a much smaller guy. So I agree, yeah, for Anthony Fowler by knockout. I've invited you, Unrivaled Boxing Talk, mate. Yeah, Porter, yeah, he lost the first Diaz fight. Yeah, he did. I remember that fight and thinking back then, this guy is not really going anywhere. And then he obviously bashed up, well, he won the rematch, and then he bashed up Devin Alexander. Yeah. Should I bet my house on FA Jagba to beat up somebody's grandpa this weekend? Yeah, go for it. Keith Thurman's going to be ringside tomorrow, looking to face the winner. It's a good fight. Thurman versus Porter too. I'd watch it.
Yo.
Are you good, mate?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good.
Nice. Did you watch the fights?
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm left with the same impressions as before, really. I mean, look, which went first?
Yard. Yeah, go
Right.
Yard first.
He's slow, isn't he?
His feet are very slow.
Yeah, but even his hand speed isn't like. Is Travis Reeves faster than Bivol
Oh no.
or Vojtik?
No.
No. So if he goes in there with any of the or Marcus Brown, Travis Reeves ain't faster than them.
No.
We just saw Anthony Yarde lose hand speed against Travis Reeves. That's something that some people said that was a strong point. We saw him in there with a guy who is a career light heavyweight, by the way, in Travis Reeves. He looked smaller, but he is a career light heavyweight, yeah?
Yeah.
I actually think it is his best opponent to date, if I'm being honest, especially the way Reeves performed. I'm not even going to lie. I had a tie before the fifth round. It was quite tight. Some of the rounds you could pick him, but Yarde was haunting him. We can
Yeah.
all agree on that. He's
Yeah.
got power. But man, his defense is lacking. His feet are slow, and I don't think they should put him in there with Kovalev.
No, I'm saying that right hand over that shoulder roll, that shot is going to be there all night, mate.
And if people can say what they want about Kovalev, he doesn't have heart. The man can box and the man can punch, and he's a brilliant boxer puncher. He's
Yeah.
a tremendous boxer puncher.
And I said it. I think I said it in the last stream or the stream before. If that fight happens next, people are going to be surprised by the speed difference. I think Kovalev's feet are so much quicker.
Kovalev's got some of the best balance in the light heavyweight
Yeah,
division. His balance is outstanding, and the way he's able to place his feet and pick off his shots, especially when people like come towards him and he's able to get the jab in first.
yeah.
Oh, like even against someone like Andre Ward, he wasn't lacking in the feet department. You know what I mean?
No, I
And Ward's
mean,
feet are
yeah.
phenomenal.
And when it's on the outside, Kovalev was actually outboxing Ward. To be honest, when it was on the outside, especially in the first fight, Kovalev's a great boxer, man. I wouldn't risk it for Anthony Yarde. I think it's too
No,
soon. I think his
it's
team
too
just
soon. Give him Jose Aborton. Get him the Jose Aborton fight.
yeah.
Give him that fight. I'm happy with it. Hey, if they really want to and he's willing to take it, give him a fight against somebody inside the top 20, top 15, maybe
Yeah.
a European guy. The guy he was meant to fight, Mehdi, is that his name? Mehdi Aman?
Mehdi Amar, yeah.
Yeah, fight him. He's a former European champion, isn't he?
Yep, and he went for distance with Vodcik as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get him in there with him. He'll give him rounds.
Yep.
If he can beat him and you want to bring him into the world level, get him against
Yeah.
Karpensi.
Yeah,
Like,
Pensi.
there's no point in them not fighting these guys. These guys are all proven. It's like bringing a guy through against a Hapa and everything. Do that.
I mean,
Because he ain't ready for a Kovalev or a
No.
Vostik or a Bivol or Batirbiev. They'll fucking knock him out.
And based on like the performance and his like development, I wouldn't pick him against a Sullivan Barrera, to be honest. People like that. I think
Sullivan Barrera will land that overhand right.
yeah, he's got a long right hand. That's a good shot. I mean,
And he'll pick that off at will because
Yeah.
even though he could box with Bivol,
he can box with
Yarde
Yarde.
ain't Bivol. Yarde ain't Bivol. If Reeves can box with Yarde, Barrera can box with Yarde. Let's just say that.
Yeah. No, man, it's I think Yarde it's a weird one because they've put themselves in a position now where they need to do something. But I personally think Yarde and his team just should have been honest from the get-go and say, do you know what? Doesn't have much amateur background. Started boxing late. This is going to be the long game. It's going to take a long while. I'd have accepted
Johnny
it.
Nelson started late. Johnny Nelson didn't have a great amateur background. Johnny Nelson fucking became the longest reigning cruiserweight champion of all time.
Yeah, it's true.
Stop giving us excuses.
No, but if his team were honest about it, like I'd accept it. I wouldn't be mad at Yarde for taking it slow. But when you're saying, "Oh, we're above like all the domestic guys, we're going to fight Kovalev soon," then yeah, we've got to judge him to a higher standard. And
I heard somebody tell me something that shook me to my core because I don't think he's able for that fight if he were to take it. And I'm being deadly serious here.
yeah,
Tunde Ajayi was talking to someone from Sky Sports. I'm not going to mention their name, but this person from Sky Sports said this to me, that apparently Anthony Yarde is looking at possibly fighting Nathan Cleverly in his next fight. And even though Cleverly, I think he's retired, isn't he?
he's retired. Yeah,
I think he'd actually punch him up. I think Cleverly would jab the fucking head off Anthony Yarde.
do you think
Cleverly can jab.
he can? But like he kind of after the Kovalev defeat, to me, he like abandoned boxing, as in like he never like kind of went to the jab again.
How good is Tony Bellew as a boxer? Let's be real. Looking at how he fought against Usyk.
He's proficient. He's decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Bellew would outbox Yarde easy money, right?
Yeah, he's true.
Bellew didn't outbox Cleverly easy money after that fight. In the rematch, even.
That's true.
He
Yeah,
had a tough night.
That's true. He actually been
Yarde could
serious.
brute force it, but that could be a very seriously tough opponent. If they're looking at an easy route, it builds them
Yeah.
cleverly. I don't think it's the. Would Callum Johnson beat cleverly? Would Hosea Borton beat cleverly?
To be honest, now I think they would. I think Cleverly's done, mate.
Callum Johnson might. Would Hosea Borton?
No.
Hosea Borton could beat Frank Buglioni.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like Cleverly, like William Jones in the chat's been saying, he's on the sniff. No, like he. Uh,
Look, I can actually testify to the validity of that. That's true. I have seen it.
yeah, exactly. Like
I've
he's.
seen it at a nightclub, and he was out and he was going mad, and the chap was on the sniff like lines galore. Jesus,
Exactly. He's having a good time. So, I mean, he's still only like he's only. I think he's only like 31, 30, 31. He's not old. He
he's
can.
all he's. I feel like he's been 26 for 26 years.
Yeah, I know, man.
He's like Lionel Messi that way, isn't he? Like Messi's been 18 for a decade.
Yeah. Do you remember on Cleverly on the come up? Like, oh, he's going to be the next Calzaghe, blah blah blah. Oh fucking hell.
It's because he
Yeah.
was from Wales and he was all right, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then Kovalev
But
happened.
wasn't Enzo Macronelli built like as probably could be better than Joe?
Yeah,
Like, come on.
but Cleverly was okay. He was a tough guy. I'll give him that. Tough guy. Um, but yeah, all in all, what we're saying is Anthony Yard. It was an okay performance, but not ready yet. If we agree
It
on
was
that.
look, he did what he had to do,
Yeah.
and he won the fight. He stopped his opponent. Do I think the stoppage was a poor stoppage? No. As soon as I seen his legs go like that, Yard was going to continue unloading. He could have hurt him. We saw what happened the fight before with Liam Williams. Liam Williams was
Ooh,
complaining to the referee about that, and I agree with Liam Williams. Your man was face down; it should have been stopped. You know what I mean?
horrible knockout that was. Good,
Yeah.
good finish. Good finish by Williams, though. To be fair to him.
Williams is a good fighter, always has been. He's only lost one was a majority decision loss to Liam Smith, and the other one I believe was a contentious
Yeah,
stoppage.
it's head clash, wasn't
Very
it?
yeah, very.
Mm,
I personally thought Smith should have been disqualified. I don't think
yeah.
it was a head clash. I
That was a
thought it
head
was
butt.
a I thought it was about his 14th headbutt. Um,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
there was a
No.
lot of headbutts, a lot. But
And
and
yeah,
he's got that win now, another stoppage win. He just beat Mark Heffron as well. He's a good British level fighter. I'm saying that now. I'm saying it like genuinely. He's a very good British fighter. He's not above British level, but he's a
no,
very good British level fighter. I'd like to see him fight Tommy Langford.
I think he'll bash up Tommy Langford.
I'd still like to see it, or I'd like to see him against Wellborn. Like they're still good fights. Wellborn's tough as nails, man.
Yeah, Wellborn gave it a proper go against
Jarrah Horde. He
Jarrett Hurd.
really
Yeah,
he put up a good account of himself considering everybody was slating him.
yeah.
So he put up a good account of himself.
I
But
think
yeah,
Williams. I think Williams, though, like William Jones in the chat said, I think he can do better than British level. I think he can get to Euro level, like European level, maybe,
yeah.
maybe.
European level at middleweight is tough though. There's some good fighters in that middleweight
Yes,
division
it's
at
true.
European level.
It's true. Um, yeah. Who else? Yeah, Dubois. I was impressed. I felt he showed
Mm.
improvements from the Johnson fight. Um, I liked the fact he was going to the body. He seemed more
Very
aggressive.
yeah, very much so. I was look after seeing Gorman not go to the body, who's a body puncher, a good body puncher. After seeing Luis Ortiz not go to the body, and after seeing Parker not go to the body against Cojanu, I was always wondering why the fuck are these guys not going to that body?
Yeah,
His body is weak, and
and open.
Dubois.
Yeah,
Dubois didn't really go to the body much against Kevin Johnson. He's obviously been working on it. He learned. He
yeah,
learned in that fight. Kevin Johnson was a learning fight. He learned. He's moved on. He stops Cojanu in the second round.
yeah.
Parker couldn't do it. Gorman couldn't do it. I mean, Ortiz did it, but like,
It's Ortiz, isn't it? Yeah, he's a
yeah,
world
I
level
mean,
fighter. Yeah,
Ortiz is a genuine world level fighter. As much as we give him stick, some people we really only give him stick for the idea of you're not there on your resume. You're
yeah,
there on your ability. That's the truth.
yeah,
He has high level ability.
yeah. I think the thing of Ortiz, anybody with any common sense can see the guy is a top 10 contender, maybe around sort of 5, 6, 7 around that area. But like,
Look, look. Dillian White's in the same area, right?
yeah,
Correct.
I'd agree.
I wouldn't bet any money on Dillian White to beat Lewis Ortiz. I wouldn't do it.
I'd bet.
It's a 50-50. It's a 50-50.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally, totally agree. But
So I tend not to bet on 50-50s. I'm much more shrewd with my money. That's why I tend to win it
yeah,
quite a lot. So,
no,
but
that's fair, man. That's fair. And yeah, Dubois, I was impressed. I liked, like you say, the Johnson fight. He learnt some things, and very next fight, he's fighting another spoiler in Cojanu, and you could tell what he's learned. You could tell he made a more of a conscious effort to go to the body. He was putting his shots together nicely, cutting off a ring fairly well, and yeah, he just fought with more intensity, and he
there was
looked good.
one thing I didn't like though.
Gone.
One thing, and anybody can give me shit for saying this. I don't like the way he cocks his right shoulder when he's throwing the overhand because he
It's very
cocks it
telegraphed.
in. Yeah, no, I don't even mean like you can see it. Like what he does is he like the way like people shrug as he turns slightly to his left as he's about to unload it. He cocks his shoulder into his chin and then
Yeah,
he pushes it through, and it's like a pushed punch. I don't like seeing that, especially because if he just lets it go with the amount of weight, he's got to fucking cream somebody.
yeah. I think
That
who was commentating? What's the guy's name? The commentator.
was it Dempsey.
Barry Jones. He mentioned it as
Oh,
well.
Jones.
How he kind of like pushes his punches at times. Um,
Yeah, but
he's
he's
clearly
young.
Yeah,
He's
he's
young.
clearly heavy-handed. But like you say, if he got his technique down, I think you're going to see a lot more like devastating finishes from
Yeah.
Dubois.
Oh, most definitely. Like at the end of the day, he's 21, right?
Yeah, and he's
He's
coming along.
21. He's beating Cojanu and Kevin Johnson. He's 21. He stopped
Yep,
Cojanu in the second round. He's what, 10-0 now, 9 knockouts?
yep.
There you go. That's the start of a heavyweight career.
It's coming along. Yeah, he's coming along nicely, to be honest. And
Because people have a misconception of world level. He beat a guy who has fought at world level tonight.
yep,
He's been in there with real world level guys in Lewis Ortiz and Joseph Parker. And even if you remember the Parker fight in the 11th round, when Cojanu eventually decided to open up, he fucking hurt Parker in that round.
yeah. No, you're right.
So I thought it was absolutely crazy when when I saw Cojanu start to try and hook with Daniel Dubois. I was like, the one thing I know about Dubois is, and from the early fights he's had, he can hook.
Yep.
He's got a hook. You'd
A
never hook with a hooker. You
mean
never
left
hook with
hook.
a hooker.
Yeah,
Speaking of hookers, Morris Hooker.
he's fighting, isn't he, tomorrow?
You know he missed weight by 5 pounds, right?
Seriously,
But
but
here's the story of the night. He had 2 hours to lose it and he made weight.
no, five
No,
pounds,
5 pounds. 4.97 pounds was
and
the exact number.
and he lost
Yeah.
the weight.
He lost the weight in 2 hours. So breaking
Bloody-
news to anybody who didn't know that, Morris Hooker, he missed weight by 5 pounds and he managed to make weight in 2 hours.
He must have had a monster shit, like just the biggest shit.
From what I heard, he had 2 colonics.
Jesus Christ,
Mm.
fucking 5 pounds. That's mental.
That's unbelievable, though. But you know what it also tells me? He can rehydrate.
Yeah.
He can, because if he can lose 5 pounds, he can gain 10.
No, yeah, that's it. And Copend is saying, do we now favour Dubois versus Gorman? I favour Dubois anyway, and I still favour Dubois.
And you heard me the other day say I favour Gorman, right?
Yep. You still favour
I still
Gorman?
favour Gorman.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're still the same.
This wouldn't change it. You see, I think Gorman outpoints him, but I feel Dubois can stop him. I'm like 55-45 on it, but I think Gorman will outpoint him.
I kind of think Gorman's like a better. He can move a bit more. I think he's a bit more. He's a bit more. He's a bit more cute in his work. You know.
Is Dubois? He's got hands. You see, what it reminds me of in a weird way. It's like a small developing Joshua versus a small developing Parker.
Yeah, it's a good shout. It's a good
Like
shout.
they kind of fight similarly to both guys a little bit.
Yeah,
Like Dubois
sometimes.
not a
Yeah,
complete
yeah,
mimicry of Joshua, and Gorman's not a complete mimicry of Parker.
but the
Actually,
similarities.
Gorman's actually similar to Andy Ruiz in some ways as well.
Yeah, like fat guy can throw hands. Like he's got quick hands. He's
But
fighting
Gorman's got
soon.
good feet.
Yeah, he has actually. He can and he can move a bit. Yeah, he can. He has got good feet. Yeah,
Mm.
Andy Ruiz. He's fighting soon. He's fighting.
I've heard people saying that for about 2 years now with Andy Ruiz. He's fighting
It's,
soon. And
it's
he
true.
pops up every like 7 months or something.
Yeah, he's fighting. Dimitrenko. I think. I think Dimitrenko's. He's shot and he shot the bits. It's not that he's
just
shot.
whenever just whenever they hear his name though, we just go, no.
Yeah, it's not. It's not that he's shot. It's just he doesn't have any ambition.
He can box, and if he had ambition and he really put it all together, he could give anybody a tough fight. But
And yeah, he can punch as
he
well.
doesn't.
Exactly. The way he the Parker fight was a disgrace. How he just laid down. That's horrible. That was absolutely horrible.
Andy Ruiz stops him.
Yeah, I think so. I think he stops him.
Either he stops him or Dimitrenko stops him. So
Yeah, Dimitrenko quits. Yeah, yeah. Ruiz. Don Hearn. He agrees. Ruiz should knock him out mid rounds like Parker did. Yeah, I agree. I agree. What do you make of
or, yeah,
just a quick one? Hashman Boxing in the chat. He's saying about Anthony Sims Jr. needs to step his opponents up. What do you make of Sims Jr.? Have you seen much of him?
I think he beats Yarde.
Do you think he beats Yarde? Yeah, he looks talented. I like his feet. You know, he's got nice, quick feet, quick hands. Gets in and out. Good jab. He's
You know the way he
flashy.
drops his hands down quite a lot.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I
No.
don't like it, and I don't like it with Yarde either.
Yeah. And Yard's the difference is Yard's getting caught already. Like Sims is kind of getting away with it, but Yarde is getting caught already. But having
I
said that,
rate Sims.
to be fair to Yard, we criticize him, but he's actually fighting better competition than Sims, to be honest.
That's 100% true, and I believe they have the same amount of points.
Yep.
They're both 18-0, correct?
Yep, they are.
There you go. So we can stop ragging on the Anthony Yarde.
Yeah, we can.
There's one thing that's pissing me off about the Anthony Yarde stuff. Everybody's saying he's a hype job, right? You saw my video. I want to ask you one question. One serious question, though. Have you ever seen a video before where you go onto it and there's more dislikes than likes on YouTube and you're instantly like, what the fuck? Right? Have you ever seen it more than with Anthony Yarde in the world of boxing? Because I haven't.
He's polarizing. I wouldn't even say he's polarizing. 90% of fans just think he's a hype job. And if you say anything positive about him, you know, you kind of you get spoke about like you're crazy.
Or you're a casual. I got called a casual by somebody because I said Anthony Yarde isn't bad.
He's not bad. He's not a bad fighter.
I have no idea how good he is. I have no idea how bad he is. I haven't seen it yet. But if he's bad, how the fuck did he beat Travis Reeves?
Exactly. The way I see it, like with Anthony Yarde, listen, we're all skeptical. We all have no idea how good he is. But one thing we can agree on, for a guy who started boxing at 19 years old, and you know, for a guy who had very little experience in the amateurs,
he's good.
He's good. In that context, when you put it in the context it deserves to be put in, yeah, he's good, and he's clearly a good learner. You know,
this is me speaking as someone who's been boxing since I was 8.5. Right?
Mm.
He can box.
Yeah,
he can box. Considering he's in it 7 years, 8 years, he can box. He can fight.
Yeah. And look at the. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, look at the. Did you see the punch where he kind of the punch that kind of started it all, where he hurt Reeves? He kind of like just like a quick, nice little lean back, come back with a nice right hand after Reeves kind of overcommitted.
Measured.
Yeah, really. It's like that's not easy to do. That's good quality boxing.
That's not just good quality boxing. I feel Anthony Yarde's temperament inside the ring is absolutely outstanding. He doesn't get frustrated ever. He's always got the same look on his face.
Yeah, He's composed, isn't he? He's calm and composed.
Excessively composed. I just want to see how composed he is when he gets smacked by Callum Johnson.
Exactly. That's what we're saying. Yeah. Does it translate? Can he maintain that against a higher level?
Because I don't care about world level. I want to see, is he British? Is he as good as the top guys at British level? If Hosea Borton starts jabbing you and landed that fucking right of his, which stings, it's not powerful, but it stings. You know, it's the type of shot that's going to make a couple of tears come out of your eye. You know,
Yeah.
when he starts landing that on you, what are you going to do?
Yep. How's he going to contend with the height and reach of Burton? Awkward style. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, it's
Personally,
good.
I think Yarde knocked Borton out, but that's beside the point.
Yep. So do I. But we want to see it. That's the thing, isn't it? We want to see it.
Because if you're going to say you're above British level, go in there and stop Borton in 4 or 5 rounds, and I'll say you're above British level.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because Borton is British level.
Yeah, Fiji water bottle. He said everyone but disagrees with me as a casual. That's pretty much the attitude of like some people though, in it. Like in all seriousness, like
Mm-hmm.
you disagree, oh, you're casual. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't call people casuals as an insult, by the way. I think casuals are the most important people in our sport.
they keep it running. They keep it going. They're the ones who
Like,
spend the money.
like at the end of the day, most of us, we don't buy, like most of us don't buy pay-per-views. I
I
guarantee you,
I
I
rarely buy.
guarantee you, about 70% of the people in your chat, minimum, yeah, haven't bought a pay-per-view in a year.
You're probably right because I've said this on the stream before. The last time I purchased a pay per view on my own without my friends was Spence Brook. And that's
There you go.
2017. Yeah.
You see, I go to a lot of events, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I do buy the pay-per-views because being a boxer and having ambition myself, I do want to support the fighters.
Yeah, no, of course.
So,
But it's like when you see things like Khan versus Crawford on pay per view on BT. I mean, I'm not paying for that. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not paying for it.
nah.
Just don't know what I can say.
I'll,
I
I'll,
mean,
I'll be honest with you. I rate Crawford. I think he's a phenomenal boxer. If this fight was in the UK, I'd be going to it.
yeah,
Right? It's that simple. Because I'd get to go see him. I'm not paying pay-per-view to watch a fight.
yeah, no way. Especially at 4 in the bloody morning. The undercard is going to be pants, I think. Anyway, so
Have you? Come on.
you know what I mean, so
I don't think that fight's going to be competitive, to be honest. I really don't.
no, I'm hoping it's competitive. I like Amir Khan.
Look, if Khan rolls back the clock 7 years, maybe.
Yeah,
But reality, his last performance against Samuel Vargas,
was poor, very poor.
and in his next fight, he's fighting Terence fucking Crawford.
Yeah, chances are.
He ain't fighting Kavalauskas, where I'd say, all right, it's competitive. He ain't fighting Jesse Vargas. He's not even fighting a Keith Thurman. He's fighting a guy who is a consensus #1 pound for pound.
Yeah, people do have him that high. I've seen him on #1 spot. Yeah.
And you've seen him on #2. You've seen him on #3. Point is, you've seen him in the top 5 of pretty much every list.
Yep. Yep. No, it's true. Listen, man, chances are Khan's getting banjoed. He's getting caught. He's getting timed. He's getting knocked out. And,
But we've seen Crawford struggle with speed. He struggled with it a bit against Gamboa.
Yep. And Delorme for a couple of rounds. Yep.
Oh, yeah. But Delorme's given everybody trouble.
Delorme's he does have talent. Like he's a tall, he's like a rangy boxer, good speed. He can box. He's just stamina wise isn't the best. Chin isn't the best, and he's just not doesn't have all the ingredients to be a top fighter, but he does have skill. You know, I felt he gave Jesse Vargas a damn tough fight. You know,
Most definitely.
arguably won. So yeah, he's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter.
What are the people asking in the chat? Let's have a look.
What do we make of Callum Johnson versus Sean Monahan? That's Dave JL Smile.
I think it's a good fight.
It could be fun.
I don't not rate Shawnee Monahan.
I think Callum should have enough. I think he's a fresher guy. younger. I think he's
He's just
more.
coming off of a stoppage loss. He's had 5 rounds in nearly 2 years, 9 months.
Yeah,
So
true. But like, I just think he's got a bit
Shawnee
more.
Monaghan can take a punch. If Shawnee Monaghan can take him long, we'll see. But I reckon Johnson's going to go in there and bang him.
Do you think?
Yeah, 4 or 5 rounds.
It's hard to tell about how durable Sean Monahan is because
He went
he
the
got
distance with Barrera, didn't he?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He went the distance with Barrera and actually done quite well, but he got banjoed by Marcus Brown in like 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah, but Marcus Brown hits harder than Barrera and probably harder than Johnson.
Do you think he hits harder
Just
than Johnson?
his jab alone. Let's not look at Baddy Jack's forehead, yeah? Let's look at the rest of his face. His jab alone rear-ended his face.
Yeah, that's true. No, it's true, man. It's true. Yeah, but like I don't know, man. I think Monahan is just a bit too basic. I think Johnson will win that.
We have some questions like, does Johnson have power after the fourth or fifth round?
Oh, we don't know.
We don't know how strong he is going
He
into later
knocked out.
rounds.
I know you're going to say it don't really matter, but he knocked out guy called some African dude. He fought for the Commonwealth. The guy fought Arthur Abraham and arguably won a Force or something like that. Something like that.
I
And he
know who
knocked
you're
him out.
talking about.
Yeah, he knocked him out in like the ninth, and that was a good knockout. Maybe he does. I don't know.
I
It's hard
also
to tell.
remember watching that fight, and that guy was gassed from the fourth round.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But like,
And when Johnson eventually floored him, the guy was literally not throwing a single punch for a minute and 32 seconds.
yeah, man, it's true. It's
I
true.
remember that shit. That shit fucking bugged me. I thought that referee should have stopped that long before. But
Yeah,
Johnson is strong. He and I believe he's actually quite durable too. But Shawnee Monaghan, he's also durable
yeah,
and he can hit. So I'll tell people what I've told everybody. This is a fun, enjoyable fight.
yep,
Let's have fun. Also, some news I heard earlier. You can check this on your schedule if you haven't already. If you are in the UK, I have very good news for you. ITV4 is showing Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia next weekend.
yes. That's great news. I saw that earlier on the schedule.
So
Glad we
there
don't
you
have to pay
go,
for it.
guys. If
Yeah, man.
if you haven't already known that, you have a fantastic event. I'm not going to say fight, event.
Yep, I'd agree with that. I can meet you in the middle there and agree. Um,
I
William
chose my
Jones,
word perfectly.
you phrased it very well. William Jones, he says Monahan is 37-38, too basic. Johnson will hurt him as soon as he hits him.
Monaghan started his career only like 6, 7 years ago, I think. Like
Yeah,
he
he started.
started in
Yeah,
his 30s. Like that doesn't mean shit to me.
yeah, man. He's done well considering.
Oh yeah.
To
Like
be fair,
Amir Mansour is 46, mate. People are thinking he's a tough opponent for Effie Ajagba.
it's true. No, it's true. What do we make of Maurice Hooker versus Les Pierre? I'll be honest, I've never seen Les Pierre fight, so I can't really say. But I will
You've
say
never
this:
you've never seen Le Pierre fight?
no.
Oh, Dell, buddy, you're not alone.
But I will say I have been impressed with the improvements of Maurice Hooker since that Darley's Perez fight. Do you remember that fight?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, robbery, wasn't it? It's a robbery, but
I
since
don't
that
use the
fight,
word robbery. I hate that word.
yeah, but that was there's robberies that are not robberies. You know, fans go over the top, and then there's a
Yeah.
robbery. That was a
You
robbery.
mean Kalia Foy against his last opponent?
Yeah, exactly. It's one way you can't even
You
see
mean
how
Maris Breedis in the World Boxing Super Series against
exactly.
Glover?
I
Yeah.
think they're the fights that deserve to be called robberies, to be honest. But
Ah,
since that fight, to be fair to Hooker, since that Perez fight, he's come on a long way.
I don't know
Um,
how good Le Pierre is, right?
yeah,
But if he was fighting a world level opponent tomorrow, I'd be worried for him because he just fucking missed weight by 5 pounds and had to burn off 5 pounds in 2 hours.
mm, yeah, it's true. That's a good point.
So I don't know if he's gonna win this fight anymore because that's dangerous.
Yeah,
Because do you remember against Barrera, Like Prince Nassim Hamid on the day of the fight, he kept burning his weight down and burning his weight down because he was 4 pounds above weight on weight day.
Yeah. Now it can
And
take
that
it
was
out of you.
4 pounds. That was 4 pounds, not five. An extra pound. That's 20% more.
Yeah. And like and yeah, that can take it out of you. That can be the difference of winning or losing.
Hmm.
Don Hearn, ITV will probably show Wilder versus Brazil as well. Yeah, you'd imagine so.
If they look, guys, the amount of people who give the PBC shit, as UK fans, if we're getting these pay-per-view fights, right, that the US are doing as pay-per-view, if we're getting these as free view television, we can
Um,
only say thank you. We can
exactly.
only say thank you.
And listen, you know I'm critical of Deontay Wilder, but like the Brazil fight, I've got no problem with it.
It's
Um,
a mandatory.
that's the way I. That's the way I see it. If my criteria is, and I try to stick to it, if you can't get a unification fight, fight either your mandatory or a consensus top 10 contender. You know, and Wilder's doing that by fighting Brazil, so I'm happy. And listen, Wilder's going to knock him out. I think we can agree, but it's going to be fun while it lasts. And
What do you mean you think we can agree? You don't speak for me.
no, Wilder's going to knock him out, Sparko.
Right, here's the facts, yeah? Deontay Wilder is going to be bamboozled by the speed and pedigree of Dominic Brazil.
God.
Dominic Brazil will beat him to the jab, he'll beat him to the uppercut, and most importantly, as his name suggests, Wilder is in trouble.
Travel Brazil. Don Breezy.
I'm Don Breezy, right? I'm telling you, Don Breezy's going to get William Dietzed.
Oh, fucking hell.
Right? That's what's going to happen. He's going to get Dietzed all over the ring. Wilder's going to go in there and Shrek him.
I'll be honest, I'm low-key looking forward to it, mate.
Look, Dominic can take a fucking punch.
He's a tough He's a tough guy.
Fucking bastard, man. He's a tough fucking thing. This guy has absolutely fucking zero talent. But because he's fucking big and a lump and he can take a punch and he does actually let his hands go, he's going to be an issue. That's the fucking problem.
The only danger Wilder has in this fight is him breaking his hand on Brazil's head. And that could happen. Wilder's picked up injuries in the past.
I think that could be the best thing to happen to him because if he just goes onto that jab the way he did with Ariola, he'll fuck Brazil up. Brazil won't beat him then if Wilder's on the run. If Wilder goes onto the run, Brazil ain't fucking catching him. He'll never catch him. Never.
Yeah, that's true. Too slow. His feet are slow. Hands are slow. He's slow as molasses, man.
Brazil's best chance is Wilder coming in with a big right hand and Brazil just swings with all of his body weight and catches clean.
Yep.
If that happens, I wouldn't be surprised if he stops him. But at the end of the day, I don't see it happening. I can't really visualize it. And I see Wilder knocking him out.
Neither can I. I can't see it happening. I think the guy, out of all the limited contenders, I think the one that kind of stands the better chance to beat Wilder, and I wouldn't pick him by any means, but the guy I think would stand a better chance would be Kalnacki.
What about White? White's limited.
He's limited, but I put him above like.
He's got a jab and a left hook.
He can time the left hook fairly well.
Like I said, he's got a jab and a left hook.
Yeah. If he caught Wilder with that left hook, I think he would spark Wilder. I think he would make him clean out.
Brazil has two dimensions too. He's got a punch and he's got a fucking chin. Kalnacki has hands and he's got a punch and a chin. Yeah. He's got three.
Kalnacki, you know, he's good at he is actually fairly good on the inside. He shortens his punches quite well. And I think he'd outwork Wilder on the inside. It's just him getting to the inside. He can.
I think he could get to the inside. Spielka did it. He'll do it.
Yeah, that's true. But Spielka weren't no good. Let's be honest. He's not great, but at least Spielka, he had like upper body movement. He kind of fainted. He had an awkward style. Kalnacki just comes forward.
I'm just saying, he ain't easy for anyone, Kalnacki. I don't care what anyone says. He's a big, fat fucking... Mate, I'm going to put it like this, yeah? He's going to go in there to Wilder. Wilder's going to be like, bomb squad! And he's going to be like, I'm going to be a daddy. And he's gonna fucking throw those hands. Don't say anything about my son.
Mm. Like
He sounds like Mike Tyson in Remedial. Like,
Kanetsky reminds me of Homer Simpson when he becomes a boxer. Like he just takes so many shots, but he
no,
just
that's Dave Allen. That's Dave Allen.
that's no, that's true. That's true.
I
But
don't
like,
care. Whenever anybody brings up that comparison to another boxer, Homer Simpson never threw punches and bunches or came forward or was as aggressive because Kavnatsky is the presser.
that
This
is
is the
true
thing. He's
actually.
right. Dave Allen, he just stands there and look, Dave Allen versus Nick Webb is the entire episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah, pretty
Really
much.
is.
It's just fucking true,
He
man.
just throws 100 fucking big massive punches, gets fucking knackered, and then just one little fucking push punch and he's down.
Exactly, man. But like, yeah, Dave Allen, man. Dave Allen. Like, Dave Allen's one of those guys I just don't even like talking about anymore. It's like it's the
How would you
same.
feel? How would you feel, by the way, if Dominic Brazil does stop Wilder? How would you feel of the idea that Dominic Big Trouble Brazil is the WBC heavyweight champion in the world and did what Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury couldn't do?
It'd be hilarious, and I would genuinely be like, I'd be pleased for Brazil because he always comes across really well. To be honest, he seems like a nice guy, and if he won, I'd be happy for him.
He's got a
But
lot of respect for himself, doesn't he?
yeah, no, he does.
The only
He's
time
a
he didn't come across really well was a couple of days after the Joshua thing. He was trying to downplay Joshua's power and he was making up excuses like, "Oh, I didn't come in shape." And if I had, that's the best shape he was ever in.
yeah,
He's never
yeah,
been in
no.
better shape than that. Like, come on, Dominic.
He's
He
just a tough bastard, isn't he? He's just a
he
tough
is.
fucking guy.
But I don't like that he can't take blame for things.
Yeah, but eventually that chin is going to deteriorate.
Mate, well, the land's flush on that chin.
I think I
He ain't
genuinely
gonna
think
be a daddy.
like Wilder could get himself injured in that fight though. He could pick up like an injury. That's the type of fight where it kind of happens with Wilder. Like the two
Mm-hmm.
Harper's fight. I think he picked up injuries in the Ariola fight as well. The first Deverne fight. But against kind of tough and durable guys, seems to pick up
Uh-huh.
knocks and injuries. And I could see that happening against Brazil. Um, Wilder's had a few injuries, man, over the years. And it makes you wonder, like, will that come back to bite him on the arse? But yeah, man, I think listen, man, Brazil's going to come to give it a go. Like, he'll come and fight. He'll come to fight. He's not going to lay down. That's what we can say.
Del, William Jones in your chat said, "Don't be amazed if Allen gets a fucking title shot, even if it's WBA regular crap against Char. He'll probably knock Brown out and turn knows he can cash in there." Oh, fuck
I
me.
don't think I could deal with Sky Sports, man. I wouldn't even watch that fight. I don't think. I don't know.
I I genuinely believe they would probably pay-per-view that for 120k, boys.
You're probably right, mate. Do you think he beats Brown anyway? What do you reckon? Do you think Dave Allen beats Brown?
I think Brown should beat him, but you never fucking know with Dave.
Yeah, and Brown looks
Also, I've seen a
top.
picture of Dave on his Twitter today. He's looking trim.
Yeah, he does look in shape. I saw that as
But,
well.
but, but, I know all the angles. I've been up at 300 pounds myself. He's sucking that gut.
Yeah.
Do you know how I know?
Go. How?
Because when he's flexing, his chest is raised.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that means that he's sucking in air.
So
Once
he
your
may.
chest is
Yeah.
raised up by over an inch or two.
So he's probably not in as good a shape as it looks.
Nah. And plus, we've seen him in tremendous shape like a week before fights before on his Instagram, and then he
Then
comes
look at
in there and
him.
it's like, you've gained 40 pounds in 2 days.
Yeah, the best he
What
turned
happened
up
here?
in the best shape he turned up in was against Lenroy Thomas in the rematch. He was actually in good shape that time.
He was in tremendous shape and he was actually boxing well. I was very disappointed the way it
Yeah,
ended because I really think he could have beat Lenroy. And if he had
yeah,
have, Dave Allen, Commonwealth champion. Come on. Who
Lewis
doesn't like it?
Hurley. Yeah, exactly. Lewis Hurley. Allen is terrible. Let's call a spade a spade. He gets battered by anyone decent. Yeah, I think we can both agree.
I personally believe I'd beat him.
Nah, I think you probably would, mate. If you've got a jab, you probably beat him, mate. Nah, man.
I
Just
really actually believe I'd beat Dave Allen.
nah, man. He's beatable, man. I mean, I think fucking Sokolowski could beat Dave Allen. I've said that before, but there we go. Like even like American journeyman like Avery Gibson, like he'd probably beat Dave Allen. To be honest, maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe I'm being harsh.
Jonathan Banks would beat Dave Allen.
Now, right now,
Yeah.
fair play, man. Do you remember? Was it who did Jonathan Banks? There's a weird Jonathan. You've brought that name up, and
Seth Mitchell.
yeah, was it the fight? It was the second fight, wasn't it? When he hurt Seth Mitchell, and it
Yep.
it, it was like it was a fixed fight, in my opinion. Like he hurt him badly, and he just didn't do anything. Like
Yeah.
literally, it looked like he was just holding off, holding off, holding off. And yeah, man, that was a weird fight. Didn't am I thinking right? Where didn't Jonathan Banks beat Seth Mitchell in the first fight, or did he not?
I can't remember.
Neither can I.
Couldn't care less.
Fucking Seth
Look,
Mitchell, that's a blast from the
there you
past, isn't
go,
it?
there, Dell.
Fucking
Fucking hell.
hell.
That's a name you don't hear it every day. And whenever you do, you're just like, oh, God.
Do you remember though? At one point, he was actually more highly regarded than Deontay Wilder. That actually happened.
It did.
Like, say
Here's
what you
one for
want.
you. I heard the weirdest thing ever today. You know the way people don't, like in our areas, they don't really know boxing?
Yeah, yeah.
I was walking down the street and I heard a guy on his phone. And I
Right,
looked at his phone, right? He was on the bus and he was in a Google Hangout with people, right? And he was
right.
talking about fucking boxing. And I was in stitches because this motherfucker said the dumbest thing ever, right? And this is no joke. He said, and I quote, that Dave Allen, in his personal opinion, would knock out George Foreman.
Oh, maybe now in 2019, yeah, but no,
No,
no.
no. He said, no, I don't mean George when he returned. I'm talking George against Ali. David just soaked up the punches like he did against Nigel Benn.
Jesus Christ. Jesus. Fucking hell, mate. That's a blinder. Lewis Hurley, I've genuinely seen fans of Allen on Twitter say he'd have a great chance of beating Dubois or Gorman. Yeah, they're crazy, man. They're crazy.
He ain't beating Gorman.
Oh, he's not beating either one, mate. He get
I
pummeled.
don't. I know that Gorman's got good energy. That's the reason why.
Yeah,
And Dubois probably can Tony Yoka him.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
He got
Joe,
yoked.
yeah, he did. He got fucked up. Do you know Allen said Yoka hit harder than Ortiz and White? I think he said Yoka was the hardest puncher he fought.
I believe that.
Yoka's accurate though, isn't he? He's got speed as well.
That's the thing. I believe that they've felt the speed and accuracy and precision more than
Yeah,
the power.
yeah. Very like just accumulation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He took a beating that night in France. He's a tough old boy, but I just get bored of like Dave Allen being on Sky, to be honest. And I'm just not feeling this Lucas Brown fight. I've got a horrible feeling Lucas Brown's going to be shot to bits.
If he beats Lucas Brown, I'll fucking mate. I'll tell you what. I'll put out a tweet. I'll go to the fight, and if Dave Allen beats him, he's got a Nando's on me.
Fair play. If he wins,
I'll do
man.
it.
Like
If he does.
apparently Brown looked well. I saw highlights of it, and Brown, yeah, he didn't look great against Sokolowski. I know Sokolowski's better than his record indicates, but it's not what you want to see. He got dropped in that fight, Brown. He got
True.
dropped.
But
Yeah.
Sokolovsky can bang.
Yeah, man, Sokolovsky can punch. He comes in shape.
He's a real journeyman. He is.
Yeah, he's a credit to the sport as well, I think.
He's
He's on
just
it.
a hard-headed. Like he's beaten some good fighters out there.
Yeah, and from what I read, some people scored that Brown fight to Sokolovsky. They felt he
Yeah,
won.
well, one of my friends was there. His name's AA Boxing and Blunts, right?
Yeah.
You might have seen him at some stage, like in chats or whatever.
Yeah, no,
He was at that fight,
yeah,
and he said that he didn't feel Sokolovsky won the fight,
right.
and he didn't feel it was a robbery, but it was close.
Okay. So competitive, yeah. No. No, AA pops up. He comments. He's been
Yeah,
knocking
so
about for ages now.
he's been around for a very long time. Sokolovsky has beaten Naylor Ball,
Yep.
Sean Turner,
Mm-hmm.
AJ Carter,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Nick Webb.
and Nick Webb. Yeah, they're the most notable ones. And he's lost to Dillian White,
Yep.
Cash Ali,
Yeah, and apparently that fight was
S-
close.
Sam Sexton,
Yep.
Gary Cornish,
Yep.
Akinlade, Nathan Gorman.
Mm-hmm. Gorman twice, yeah.
He lost to Con Sheehan. For
Oh,
guys who don't know who Con Sheehan is, he's an Irish heavyweight. He's about 6'5" and a half. He's 6-0 with 1 KO.
Sheehan, right?
Um,
Yeah, I remember him.
he's been knocking about for a bit, just a little bit.
He's not fought for a
Uh,
while.
no, he hasn't. So he's only lost to the best of Britain,
Yeah,
really.
basically, yeah.
Uh,
And he gives it a good go. Like I
he's
heard like
lost to Price, Garmin.
yeah, that Price fight though. That I mean, listen, if that was longer, Price would have
Ooh.
been in trouble, man. I'm telling you. Like he's a good fighter, man. He's a credit to the sport.
Look, at the end of the day, David Price has given me my two favorite moments in all of boxing, right? The first one is the Tyson Fury interview.
Right. Oh yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
See you, you big stiff plumber, right? You're going to need 10 plumbers to do you when I'm done with you. Best line I've ever heard in boxing. Next one, without any shadow of a doubt, my favorite moment in all of boxing is that motherfucker in that suit.
yeah. The tiny head, yeah.
Oh my God. I was laughing for about an hour.
And don't forget, we got the Tony Thompson interview out of David Price as well. The post-fight Tony Thompson interview.
I can't remember.
Breaking his wife's hips.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Fucking banter. Price just brings out banter. That's why he should keep fighting. He's the banter king, but like he brings out the
Like, I
banter.
know a lot of people get behind Dave Allen and they love Dave Allen, right? But David Price, I understand the love for David Price. I really
Yeah.
do. Because one, the difference between him and Dave Allen is he's actually a good fucking fighter.
Yep. And he's exciting as
Like,
fuck.
he is the Amir Khan of the heavyweight division.
Yeah, man. Listen, let's be honest
And I
about
would
it.
pay money to watch Amir Khan beef up to 200 pounds and fight David Price. I would
Jesus.
pay fucking pay-per-view for that.
But let's be honest about it. People out there like to say, "Oh, it's bad for David Price's health." Blah blah blah. Listen, you like me. I'm sure we both want to see David Price in there with a big fucking puncher. Let's be honest about it. We want to see him in there with a guy who can bang.
Everybody's like, oh, it's bad for his health. If he went in there with a Jagba, we'd all be watching it with our fucking hands over our eyes.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be glorious, man. It'd be glorious.
Because we know that Jagba could actually get knocked out. He could. But the likelihood is David Price is possibly going home in a casket. And it sounds evil as fuck to say that. But that's why we watch David Price. Because we know he ain't being stopped like crappy. Unless like he can't go on and he himself stops. You know what I mean? Like he did with Kuzma.
Yeah.
But
he's getting iced basically most of the time.
You're guaranteed a spectacular fucking knockout of the year with David Price in the ring.
Exactly. Like That's what I'm looking forward to about this Liverpool show the most. I'm looking forward to seeing David Price versus Cash Ali. I've got no idea how good Cash Ali is. From what I've seen, he looks basic as hell, but if he goes in there with some ambition, he's got a chance
Hmm.
to knock David Price out. So,
And at the end of the day, do you remember Price against Povetkin?
oh, of
That's
course.
the epitome of a David Price fight. He fucking punched Povetkin off his feet about fucking 20 feet across the ring. Like, that dude flew.
Yeah,
He was fucking Mary Poppins across the ring.
yeah, yeah.
And then out of nowhere, like, next round, Povetkin's like, right, I'm getting this big fat fucking cunt out of here. He can hit. He can fucking hit.
Oh, I still remember that knockout, man. The right hand just froze David Price, didn't it? And like he's out on his feet. Then he followed up with a left hook. That's a
Oh,
nasty, nasty KO. A beautiful KO, but nasty as fuck.
yo,
Nasty.
William Jones, do me a favor, buddy, yeah? Stop putting swears into your chat because it means I have to like click I have to click show for your comment to come up because it's being censored. He just
Yeah.
keeps writing Brown is fucked, he's shit, you're not harsh, Lenroy Thomas and Boxrec 200 odd, you fucking beat him. Right?
Now,
Fucks
Lucas.
and shits everywhere.
Yeah, it's annoying actually this censorship thing, man. Why? I mean, nobody fucking minds a fuck
I'm
you
telling you,
anyway.
I'm still clicking show on all of his comments. Like 95% of them are all fucking swear words, man. He said, "Sorry, don't worry about it, but just try to be careful because we want your messages to come through. We don't want to feel like you're being blocked."
No, that's it, man. But yeah, I mean, so we've got the fights this weekend. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how Bivol looks against Joe Smith Jr. He needs to be on his P's and Q's in that fight because he should outbox Joe Smith Jr. But you know, your concentration needs to be on point because you never know, he can punch.
I
Um,
like Dimitri Bivol.
so do I. I like him as well. Um, lovely jab, man. Lovely movement. Um, just a really good boxer. Smooth boxer. I think he's the most talented guy in that weight class. I'll be honest.
I don't know if he's the most talented. I think Marcus Brown will give him a run for his money. But
Yeah, I think that's a bad style for Bivol. But all in
he's
all,
definitely talented.
yeah,
He's
all in all,
definitely
yeah,
talented. He's the most well-rounded, isn't he? He's got good feet. He's got good jab. He's got good power. I mean,
decent
although
hands. Yeah,
Kovalev has all those skills too.
he does. I would pick Bivol to beat Kovalev personally, but
That's because we're questioning Kovalev's heart.
it's not even his heart, man. I just don't think he's the same guy. I think he's. I don't know, man. It'd be a great boxing match with power. Be a great fight.
Two very good boxer punchers.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great fight. This is one for you because you love Carl Froch. Um, if Carl Froch moved up to 175 when Bellew was there, who would have won and who would you have wanted to win?
Carl Froch wouldn't have moved to 175. Even at 168, he ducked Adonis Stevenson.
Now we know he wouldn't have moved up, but who would have won?
Oh,
175 Bellew or
at
Froch?
175, Bellew was drained. I don't.
I think
Carl
Froch.
Froch, who would I have wanted to win? Fucking Bellew.
You'd want Bellew.
Of course, I would have wanted Bellew to beat Carl Froch. I fucking love Bellew. Like, I'm not going to fucking hide behind it. Like, to most people who don't know this, I go to a lot of boxing events. That all started because of Tony Bellew.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That all started because of Tony Bellew.
No, fair
Tony
play.
Bellew was giving out tickets for free on his Twitter years ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's mad.
And, like, I had already gone to one of his events. And,
Yeah.
like, I sent him the ticket from years before. But he was giving out tickets for people to go see him against Valerie Rudolph. And I sent him a ticket showing him that I had gone to the Odyssey Arena. My first time going to see him fight was in Belfast. And he was fighting against Matthew Ellis. So I saw him knock out Matthew Ellis. And after that, I went to 6 more of his fights. So I went to see Bellew fight live 14 times.
Jesus. So you were a
Yes.
Bellew
I,
fan.
I, yeah, I guess you could say that because like I enjoyed going to his events because they were kind of enjoyable and I liked the way he talked and everything. So like in terms of going to the events, I went, and I would have wanted Bellew to beat Broch.
Yeah, I wasn't. I'll be honest. I was never like the biggest. I never really warmed to Bellew, but I was pleased when he beat Maccabi. That was a good feel good type of fight, man. When he knocked out
Especially
Maccabi.
the way he rose from the dead,
Yeah, that was a good
the
knock.
way he turned into Undertaker at
Mm.
WrestleMania.
That's a nasty knockout as well. That's a bad knockout, a brutal
Bellew could
knockout.
fucking bang at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Look at like people say, "Oh, you're just a Bellew." Some people call me a Bellew fanboy. I can tell you everything wrong with Bellew, but I can tell you all the good things about him. One, he's got a great heart. He can punch, and he's got good boxing skills. Right?
yeah.
He's got a bit of a bad chin. That's a weakness. He's a loudmouth with cunt. He's fantastic in the mental game. But here's what I think Bellew's biggest weakness is:
Gone.
his overcommitment. He will
Okay.
overcommit on punches, and that's what got him dropped.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And
Yeah,
I also don't think he was ever really a legit world champion or a legit champion at any level because he never won a title that wasn't a vacant title.
yeah. No, I agree. Actually, it's a good point. And in regards to his cruiserweight reign, yeah, he won it vacant. And what would have proved if he was like a proper champion or not was if he would have fought Bradis, who was his mandatory. If he fought Briadis and won, then you could say, do you know what? Yeah, it was a vacant title, but he's just beaten a really good mandatory. So yeah, he's a proper champion. But he never really did that at cruiserweight. So
Mm.
how he got the Emirate status, whatever it's called, I don't know, from the WBC, like champion emeritus or something. Like, that's crazy.
That's the same as champion in recess
Yeah, but like,
because he never lost his title, so he wasn't stripped of it. He was moving up to fight a big money fight against a big fucking name fighter who was a former unified champion
yeah, but like
at
Vitali,
cruiserweight. That's the
Vitali,
reason why he got the emeritus status.
Vitali now is still emeritus, like because of his history, what he did. But like Bellew didn't really do anything. Like, do you know what I mean? But
Well, mate, Daniel Jacobs and Canelo got fucking big random cakes from the WBC. Nobody knows what the fucking WBC are up to. That's
it's
the
true.
WBC are the weirdest fucking organization. I'm still waiting on Oscar De La Hoya to get a fucking cake made out of fishnets in the shape
Yeah.
of a spatula. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh fucking Oscar. Oh, sick fuck. Jesus Christ.
Is he a sick fuck or is he just like
Nah, he's a sick fuck, isn't
I
he?
don't know if he's a sick fuck or he's just that one mate that we all have who we're all like he's a bit of a legend and like he's gonna get the party started, but once that party started you need to get away from him.
Yeah.
We all have that mate because about 2 hours in he's either gonna be drunk crying about how like he tried to have sex with a girl and she wouldn't, so like he fingered her bumhole instead. Like
Jesus Christ.
that shit's gonna rise with a mate. Like I've got a mate like that. He's fucking unreal.
Yeah, man, I'll be honest. Out of all the people in boxing I'd want to party with, Oscar ain't one of them. I'll be honest. Oscar ain't one of them.
I'm not even joking, man. I genuinely want to go to a party with 4 people in boxing, right? 4 current boxers. One is Dave Allen.
Yeah.
I actually would like to go on a fucking piss up with Dave Allen. Fury.
Yeah.
Joseph Parker.
Okay.
Because the pictures of Joey Parker coming out with Tyson Fury is the greatest pictures I've ever seen. And last but not fucking least, Joe Joyce.
Oh, Joe Joyce. Okay. See,
Do you want to? I want to see Joe Joyce with 7 lines up his nose and 14 points into him with 6 girls around him. I want to see it. I want to see what happens.
Get Charles Martin in. Get him in there as well.
Oh, fuck yeah. Could you imagine Charles Martin with James Toney showing up? Fucking hell.
Oh, dear. Jesus Christ. Who'd be the worst, though? Imagine Kyle Frosch on a night out.
I remember when I took 12 shots in front of George Groves and that 8,000 to Wembley. Oh, do you know who you'd have to... Like, let's be real. Like, could you imagine a bachelor party and you have all of them, right? And then you have 2 more. You bring Oscar, because he's going to have the strippers.
Yep.
And then just to make everything really weird, you bring 2 more in. You bring Eddie Hearn, because he's banter.
Yep.
And you bring Adam Smith.
Oh no, Adam Smith. Oh,
Mate, you have to bring the weirdos.
he could. You never know. He could be a fucking animal.
No, what you mean? You never know. He is an animal. You know he's an animal.
Yeah, he's a fucking sick fuck probably
You
as
know
well.
he's gonna be drunk as fuck, and he's gonna be like, back in 2007 in Thailand. I
Yeah.
was treating the lady boys like you would fucking kebabs if you're in Turkey. I was eating them all.
Fucking hell. Apparently Dave
Oh,
Allen. Apparently Dave Allen doesn't drink, according to William Jones. Yeah, that's true. Actually, I've heard that. I've heard that. Um. Okay. Yeah. No. We'll get him on. We'll get him on for drink. I'm sure.
oh, Dave Allen doesn't drink. Ah,
No.
fuck him, fuck him. Let's bring Dillian White because Eddie Hearn's gonna be there. We want to see Dillian bitch for a few hours.
Someone's made a really good shout. Ricardo Mayorga.
Fucking hell.
Don't know
Let's
what
bring
the fuck he's saying, but it'd be banter. It'd be fucking brilliant. Get him in.
let's bring Roberto Duran as well. But
Oh,
somebody's
Christ.
gonna say something out of line, and Roberto's just gonna fucking snap a chair over their head.
He's gonna fuck him up. He's gonna
You,
fuck him
you,
up.
can this be anyone alive or dead?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let's bring Valero as well. We need a bodyguard.
Yeah, we need somebody to fucking put the bitches in check, man. Jesus.
Because we all know at the end of the day, like we all have a mate who's like 5'3", 5'4", who's gonna like beat the fuck out of anybody who fucking
Yeah,
starts shit with us.
he's got that little man fucking syndrome in it, like Edwin Valero.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Valero just goes in there, some 6'4" cunt gets dropped.
he just laid out. Yeah. Uh,
Just be like, I told you not to talk about my peanuts.
I've seen his name actually pop up quite a few times recently. Edwin
Yeah,
Valero.
what's with that? Like, what's with the new Edwin Valero shit? I've been noticing it. Nobody talked about him for like a decade, right?
Yeah,
And now I've seen people popping up all over the woodwork like Edwin Valero, Edwin Valero. I'm telling you, it's Boxing Legends TV, man. I'm
mm,
telling you, that motherfucker has fucking given Edwin Valero like fucking fan base.
yep. The thing is, though, I think Valero is like one of those fighters where, obviously, because it ended the way it did, like his career ended before it didn't end naturally.
Began.
Yeah, and when fighters or when anything happens like that, people kind of tend to overrate them. They kind of go along the lines of what could have been, they would have been the greatest of all time, blah blah blah. And I think people, just because of the way certain careers end, like Valero and Ike Ihebuchi as well, people kind of, they kind of develop like a cult following,
Mm-hmm.
and they just get overrated in a way. Like,
I don't think Ike is overrated though. I genuinely rate Ike. I think
yeah, no,
Ike was
he was
phenomenal.
a great fighter and had great potential, but like
His fight with David too, man. Fuck him.
that was nasty. That was nasty, man. Didn't that fight break like punch records for heavyweight?
Yes.
Still stands today, I think, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes,
Crazy,
sir.
crazy. But
That's
like,
what I want. That's why I want to see Kovnatsky Miller.
ooh, yeah, or fucking Kanatsky Ruiz, man, that'd be a great fight.
Do you know what I really want to see? I want to see David Price against Audley Harrison.
Again, Jesus,
I
no,
want to see it.
no. I want to see David
Give
Price versus Luis Ortiz, mate. To be honest.
well, I'd like to see David Price against Deontay Wilder, but
Oh God. Oh
yeah.
God. No, that's poor Pricey. Poor old Pricey. He'd be gone.
But only on a 2-fight contract. If he fights against Wilder, he has to fight Effie Ajagba on the same night.
Fucking hell.
I don't care if there's 6 hours between the fight. Make it happen.
Yeah, but like oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking yeah, like Valero, it's weird, isn't it? How he just pops up. Like I don't know, man. People just overrate people who like went out prematurely kind of thing. Like I'll give you this example. Adrian Broner. Let's say post DeMarco, which was probably his best performance. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Let's say we're back in like 2012, whenever it was, 2012, 2013. So he just smashes up DeMarco, looks great doing it. And then Broner gets fucking shot in a drive-by, he dies. Let's say that happened. people, I kid you not, people now will be saying, "Oh, Broner, he would have been an all-time great. He would have
Well,
been."
people were bigging him up to be the next Floyd at that point.
That's what I'm saying. People would have run with it even further because he got taken prematurely, and that's what I think happens with people like Edwin Valero. Yeah, he was a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but
But what would have happened if he had a fought Pac-Man?
he would have got. I think he would have got mashed up. In all honesty,
He could have knocked out Pac-Man.
yeah, but Pac-Man's like his hand speed, his foot speed's on another level. I think Pacquiao would have. Valero would be walking into that southpaw lead, man. I think, and I think Pacquiao would smash him up. In all honesty, I really
I
do.
mean, they're both southpaws.
Yeah, it's true. But like, I think
This makes for a very open fight.
Valero's technique was a bit wild at times.
It was, but his chin was phenomenal.
His chin, yeah, but it's like Pacquiao at those weights could punch, man. He had all the speed
Pacquiao
in
at
the
any
world.
weight could put. I think Pacquiao had more power at 140 than he did at 126.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Hatton knockout, man, whew,
Oh,
horrible.
that still gives me shivers.
I remember watching that, man. That was like,
Did you believe Ricky could do it?
yeah, man, I did. That was,
Casual.
that was, that was,
You were a fucking. I know you weren't a casual, but Dell,
that was a
you were a
casual.
fucking casual.
That was I think it was the day before or day after my birthday. I think it was the night before, I want to say. And yeah, man, I remember staying up for it. I bought it and I really thought, he had a chance because he was training with obviously Mayweather and
My good
yeah,
friend in your chat, by the way, Mr. Doc said, ironically, wasn't Valero's best win DeMarco, same as Broner?
it was exactly that's what I'm saying. Like if Broner was taken from us after DeMarco, people would honestly they'd call him like the next fucking, young
I
punch.
personally don't think it was his best win, but eh, everybody has their own opinion.
Who DeMarco or sorry, I mean Broner or you think
Valero's
Malignaggi?
best win.
Who'd you
No,
say?
Valero's best win. I don't think DeMarco was his best win. I think Pitalia was his best win.
Okay, but
Antonio
Demarco,
Pitalua. Pitalua, sorry, Pitalua.
yeah, I'd say personally Demarco, but it is what it is. Like but it is what it is. There's nothing much in between it.
Yeah.
But like Valero, mate, he was a good fighter, man. I mean, good puncher, crazy style, aggressive. Yeah, I mean, he was a good fighter, but I just think he got a bit overrated, just because of the way he went out. I think
Yeah.
people, yeah, yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're just people develop like a cult following when they go out like that. And it's not just boxing; it's like the same with music and that and everything really. Um, the one fighter I do look at though, and who was taken way too soon, and who would have genuinely been a bona fide all time, and he's still an all time great, but Salvador Sanchez, he was fucking
Well, yeah.
tremendous. But like he was
Unbelievable.
taken so young, and look at what he did. Imagine like he had a full career. He had scary potential. Like unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But
Del,
like,
do you mind if I send Doc a link, Mr. Doc? He's a good guy. I know him well.
I've heard it, mate. Yeah, I'll be on for like half an hour more, maybe
Yeah, awesome.
45 minutes, half an hour. Yeah, chuck a
I
link
won't.
on.
I won't add anybody in without your permission.
Nah, that's cool, bro. It's cool.
Because at the end of the day, I've got all of these people.
But that's a good point, though. Yeah, Demarco. Yeah, that's when Broner was at like, that's when the hype was at its peak. Like, yeah, man, I remember that. And then I think the Malignaggi fight kind of brought it back down to earth a bit. And then obviously Maidana happened, and it was never the same since for Broner, to be honest. Yeah, William, mate, that's fine. Ah, guilty Simpson. Technically speaking, Broner was taken away too soon against Maidana. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, William Jones, mate. I remember Hatton Mayweather. Yeah, I remember that. To be fair, I did call that one right. I said at school, Mayweather's going to smash him. He's going to beat him because I liked Mayweather because he came out in a Man United shirt um, in Manchester. So that's why I wanted Mayweather to win. And yeah, man, I got that one right as a kid. To be honest, yeah. Yo, pops, brush my hair. AB, you know,
Yo, pops, brush my hair. What the? Oh my god, that's not what I think it is it?
you know, AB.
Oh, please don't do that. Oh, oh, you can't do that to me,
You like AB?
Dad. Adrian Broner is pound for pound #1 of all time.
100%. Real talk
So,
though, if you're matching Adrian Broner, realistically, who do you put him in there with next? I say Omar Figueroa.
I say David Price.
David Price, oh god.
Like, you're not
Oh,
gonna get a real answer from me, man. I don't care. I
yeah, you
didn't
do.
care about, like, realistically, I didn't care about him fighting Pacquiao. I don't care. What's Adrian Broner done for me lately? Huh?
Taking a L.
Look, that's all he's doing. The good opponent he's fighting, he loses to, or he gets a draw with if they're average. Like, at the end of the day, Broner isn't anything more than. He's not going to get better. He's just going downhill. He's a fighter who never reached his full potential, and I'm fed up with fucking seeing him in these fucking big fights. Do I want to see him against Omar Figueroa? No. I don't fucking care to see Adrian Broner lose again. I've seen it a few times. It's no longer
No,
exciting.
we need to see him get knocked out. We've
Right.
not seen that. We've not
Right,
seen
then
that.
do you know who I want to see him? Because I want to see this guy get a shot. I want to see Adrian Broner get in there with Kerman Laharaga.
It's a good shout. It's a good shout. I don't think he'd knock Broner out though.
I think he'd fucking kill him.
He'd beat him.
I think he'd skeet all over him.
Oh, good old Bradley. Oh, Bradley Skeet. He has a horrible performance when he fought Lajaraga. Just got banned.
Folded Skeeter. What's up,
Yeah,
guys?
he folded him up a couple of rounds. What's up, man?
What's up, Duck?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot.
No, yeah, man, was you made a good point in regards to DeMarco and Valero and Broner. It's just I don't know, man. I just wasn't as high on Valero as other people. Kind of
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
yeah,
It's worth noting that at the time, I mean, granted, obviously that was his network, but even Larry Merchant, notoriously difficult to impress, was impressed with how Broner done DeMarco.
yeah, exactly. It was a good performance, but just
Yeah. It was at the time. At the time, DeMarco was, he wasn't a world beater, but he certainly was no mug, as you guys say.
yeah. No, I fell for it. I fell for it. I felt yeah, he looked like the real deal in that fight. Um, but yeah, I think the Malignaggi fight. That's when I kind of went off the train.
Yeah. Although it's worth noting, in that fight, at least he was still a come forward fighter, and to me,
Yeah,
that was always the thing with him when he fought like a come forward fighter, offensive first. That was when he was, however good he was going to be. That was when he was at his best.
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like the Jesse Vargas fight's a good example because when he tries to box with Vargas, he was getting outworked. He's just getting out jabbed. But when he actually went through the gears and applied pressure, he looked like the much better fighter. But
Yep. When he, if you want, even you could even simplify it more. When he throws friggin' body shots,
yeah,
when he threw body shots against Vargas, suddenly he was putting combinations together. You know what I mean? Even the Maidana fight, his best moments in the Maidana fight were when he held his feet in the pocket and tried to push him back.
yeah, because he hurt Maidana towards the end of that fight. Was it round 11? Towards the end of round
Yeah.
11? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Now, Broner's just frustrating to watch, and like McGregor said. he's a lost cause. I don't know why we're talking about it,
He
but
is what he is. He is what he is. He's an underachiever that if we're being honest, though, he's been in, a fair number of entertaining fights. Underachiever.
yeah.
Simple.
Duck's going in. Fucking hell.
No, man, it's true though. It's like
Like, look, the Granados fight was entertaining. The Vargas fight was entertaining.
yeah,
If you take away, especially if you take away the expectations, in a vacuum, those are entertaining fights.
yeah. Maidana fight was really good. As a fun
Entertaining fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Alec Verdiev performance I actually rated because I thought Alec Verdiev was, pretty good.
Yeah, he
I
arguably.
I thought he beat Vargas.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
example.
Yeah, he gave Vargas a really close fight.
Yeah, fantastic. He gave Jesse Vargas a really good fight. Woohoo. Who hasn't?
Well, but see, that's what I'm.
No,
that's my
answer
point,
that.
McGregor.
Who the fuck hasn't? I don't get this shit. I don't get why people are like, oh, he gives Vargas a good fight. He's good. Nah, Adrian Broner gave him a good fight, and look how good AB is. He had a tough fucking fight against Ashley Theophane.
If you entertaining fight. See, if you take away the expectations, was my whole premise. Obviously, in the context of the expectations of the hype, yeah, it's jack shit.
McGregor's not having it. He's over Broner. He's over him. He's over him.
There's a reason why.
No,
and it'll make sense to you now. It'll make sense to you.
Go for it.
Who do you think was one of the hardcores who believed in fucking Broner?
Oh, you.
Oh.
Most of us fell for it.
Look, I've fallen into the trap. Do you know who else I truly had a lot of faith in?
Who?
Fucking Twinkle Toe.
Oh, David Hay, yeah. Oh, man, listen, he done the same. He done the same to me. Like, I'm
actually proud of you for getting that reference instantly.
He's still like, even in Bellew 2, man, in the build-up, he still had me convinced he was going to knock him out. Like, the guy's he's a master salesman.
This is the thing. When he came in there in his fucking return and he fought against fucking Mark Damari and Adagajev or whatever his name is. Gajoyev, isn't it?
Kebab, yeah. What his name is.
Kebab, whatever his name is. Right. When he came in against them two guys, I knew he was finished.
Yeah.
So all I can say is thank you to Tony Bellew, who admittedly, I've been a fan of him for a very long time. Thank you so much for earning me 15,000. Thank you.
Jesus. Fair play, man. Fair play.
Over the two fights, I believed in him in both. And I picked him to win both fights by stoppage. And guess what he did?
He
won both fights by stoppage. Yeah, I don't care how he did it. I don't care about injuries. I got fucking grands.
I fell for the first one. I fell for it for the first Bellew fight. But after hearing all the rumors that his body was breaking down before the first fight, combined with how he broke down in the ring in the first one, I was like, nah, it's a shot fight.
Yeah. No, David Hay, like, he was a master salesman. Like, dude. No, I've never seen anybody like it, and I won't see anybody like it soon, I think.
I didn't a similar note, I didn't fall for DeGale. You can ask McGregor.
I said the same with DeGale.
Shot fighter, man. Shot fighter, yep.
Yeah, yep. I had DeGale losing that fight as well. I just felt Eubank going into it was far too fresh.
Well, there you go, guys. Yeah. I'm a man of my word. I said I'd admit it if it happened, and I said if DeGale loses, I'll eat my words. And I ate my words because, Doc, if you remember when Eubank beat him, I actually was praising the shit out of Eubank for his performance.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just I just thought it was the most tempered, genuine boxing performance I've ever seen from Eubank Jr. And DeGale, yes, he was shot, but on that night, he still could have beaten a few guys.
Yeah. If anything, there was a couple times I felt like Eubank could have stepped on the gas and maybe gotten DeGale out of there. But to your point, he did a good job. Yep. Now, do we all agree? Do we all agree that almost no question, Prime DeGale, we would have at least all been favoring him going into that?
Well, I was favoring a shot DeGale.
Yeah, so. I'll be honest. I mentioned in my prediction, even if DeGale was prime, I still think Eubank's a bad matchup for him. DeGale just spends far too much time on the ropes. He spends far too much time in the pocket. And I think regardless of when Junior fought him, he would have gave him a tough fight just based on the styles. Maybe
Yeah, yeah,
DeGale would have won,
yeah.
but
'Cause he made hard work out of Porky, for example, didn't he?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Porky Medina. Even
Here's just a question. You know the
yeah,
way Paddy Jack really put it on the Gale? And the Gale
yeah, yeah.
managed to snuff out a draw, maybe 5 rounds if you want to favour it to Jack, right? Eubank would not have
And
beaten
especially
Eubank would
second
not have
half.
beaten the Gale on that night, on the second half of that fight.
But the second half of that fight, I think he would have come on
Yeah.
because DeGale did fade. The first half of that fight was almost all DeGale, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To be honest, though,
But
I'll be honest.
I don't
thought
feel
Badou Jack.
Eubank would have won that fight.
I thought Badou Jack point blank period won that fight. I didn't think it was that close. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it was divisive. It was divisive. I thought DeGale won too much of the first half, but that's kind of where the crux of it comes in. Nobody really. There's no real debate who won the second half. Fair enough, right?
It's true. Yeah,
it's what you thought of the first half.
Well, here's the thing. It really depends on who you ask. Because personally, I thought the Gale won all 12 rounds. But I will explain why. When I was watching it the first time, I genuinely had a scorecard of 120, 108. But I will explain why. Because I was watching without contact lenses, and I thought, and I was drunk, and I thought that the Gale was Jack.
Oh God!
And I was like, "What the fuck?"
No,
because I thought that the Gale got a draw against Jack. Like I really do. I don't think it was a draw myself. Like I had Jack winning that fight. I thought it was 8 rounds to 4. But here's the thing: I can see the swing rounds. I can see them.
Yeah,
and that's
it's like, what would you guys say? Rounds 3, 4, 5, 6 is pretty much where the opinions are going to start differing, right?
Yeah, I agree. I just felt a lot of DeGale's work was being caught on the gloves of Badou Jack. I felt Badou Jack did a good job of just keeping a good strong high guard, and a lot of DeGale's work I felt was landing on the guard, to be honest. But
I wouldn't disagree with that. I felt like out of any given combination, about maybe anywhere from 25% to half was getting through.
Yeah,
to your point there.
Yeah, no, it's true. It was a close fight, but I just felt.
In fact, you know what? I offhand, I'd even agree with you that that's probably the crux of those rounds. It was how much you felt of DeGale's combos were getting through.
Yeah, I just felt Jack's guard was really effective. From what I remember, I've not seen it for like maybe 12, 18 months, but from what I remember, the guard of Jack was really effective.
Well, if either way, regardless of how we interpreted the first half, it told in the second half because DeGale got tired. You know what I mean, for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a great fight. Shame they never ran it back, to be honest. But
in hindsight, I think DeGale would have stopped, Jack would have stopped him. I think.
Yeah,
in a rematch.
I agree.
Because what we all can agree on is that was a case of DeGale won the battle, but Jack won the war.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was the fight, I think, that really kind of finished off DeGale at the elite level.
Yeah. Because, that can happen in boxing. You can win the boxing match, but lose the fight.
Yep.
It might be a better way of putting it.
Yep.
Delboy, we have a question from the chat. Who wins, Bradley Skeet or Tyrone Norse?
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
The British boxing fads win, mate. They win an early night's sleep because nobody stayed up.
Bradley Skeet. Jesus.
I
don't know.
Tyrone Norse. Tyrone Norse stops him.
Super Skeet, mate. He's gonna win.
Super Skeet got fucking dubbed.
I've seen Tyrone Nurse fight one time. He went 12 rounds with somebody. I can't remember who though.
Yeah, Tyrone Nurse, man. He's got. I can't stand watching him fight for the most part. He's annoying because he's a tall, lanky guy. Fights in the pocket, gets hit way too much. Like, what are you doing, man?
Here's one for you: the Battle of Newcastle versus Scotland. The two Joshes. Who wins?
Josh Taylor versus
Josh Kelly at 147.
Josh Taylor. I don't rate Kelly, I'll be honest.
No. But he has highlight reels, Del.
He does have highlight reels, and he can move his head in weird passions. Yeah, yeah.
Del, why don't you watch boxing like the rest of the YouTube fan base?
Oh, I
He
think
has highlight videos that make him look like the next Lomachenko. He has entered the Matrix.
God, Josh
Fucking
Kelly,
bullshit.
crazy. The hype's actually died down by for Josh Kelly. I've
What do you
noticed.
think of Josh Kelly versus Jerron Ennis? Serious
Hang on.
question.
You please tell me you're trolling and no one's actually put Josh Kelly and Lomachenko in the same sentence.
He literally on. Have you ever seen the YouTube channel Boxing Legends TV?
I've seen it in passing.
Yeah, he has over 1 million subscribers. He's not making videos at the moment, but he's done lots of highlights videos. He's a bit of a historian, not even gonna joke. He knows his shit, but he does a lot of highlight videos of fighters.
Yeah.
And he made a video of Josh Kelly, and he said that the English fighter is reminiscent of Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk.
No way, man.
No.
To his credit, he is a world-class editor. You've seen his videos too. He did make Josh Kelly look like Lomachenko. I'm just gonna to a casual.
Yeah,
Not to
Josh
fucking
Kelly.
me, didn't.
Josh
like,
Kelly.
what the fuck?
He just doesn't do it for me, Josh Kelly. I just don't think he's going. I can't see him getting above like European level. To be honest, I think he'll come unstuck.
I just want to see Josh Kelly versus Jerron Ennis. Give me what I want.
Oh, Ennis would be too much.
We
Ennis
don't know.
would be
We've never seen Ennis against anybody better than anybody Kelly's fought.
No, it's true, but like I'm taking Ennis. I'd
Like
rather
Ennis
see.
fights with his hands down and everything and does the Philly shell. We don't know how good or effective he is.
Yeah, I mean,
He looks the works, doesn't he?
he does. I mean,
But
Josh Kelly. I don't know, man. And can Josh Kelly even make weight properly at welterweight? Because that Avanesian fight, he pulled out because he couldn't make weight properly. I don't care what anybody says.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, really fishy how they just pulled out of that fight. They tried to change it to like a 10-rounder. Then Avanesian's team said no, from what I heard, and then after that they just pulled out. So Kelly can't make the weight effectively, and he's just not that good, to be honest. I just don't see it. I don't rate any of these matchroom prospects apart from Boatsi. Boatsi's the only one where I think, yeah, he looks pretty solid. But the rest of them, Anthony Fowler, Lawrence Okoli, nobody really stands out to me apart from Boatsi. I don't know about you guys, but
what, British level, British guys?
yeah.
Well, Taylor, like I'll call him British. He's Scottish, but I'll call him British. Taylor stands out to me above everyone.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call him a prospect anymore.
Why? Because he
I'd
beat
call him a
Postal?
contender. Yeah, I'd call him a contender now.
I mean, fair enough, but like he's had 14 points. I mean, does anybody else stand out to me at British level? I mean, Dave Allen does for obvious reasons, but not for the right reasons. I still think Beats has the greatest quote ever.
Go on.
When somebody, I think it was Lowe, was talking about he was saying that Errol Spence could beat Harry Wills. I don't know if you know who Harry Wills is, but he fought against Sam Langford. He was a top heavyweight. Okay, yeah, Doc. Anyway, beats out of nowhere and just said, "Could Errol Spence beat Dave Allen?"
Yeah, it's crazy. That's madness.
That's a serious question, by the way. Could he beat Dave Allen? I don't think he could. I think Dave Allen would knock him out.
Of course not. He couldn't beat Dave Allen. He'd get steamrolled.
Because even if we don't rate Big Dave, Dave's a fucking big massive lad.
He's a heavyweight, for Christ's sake.
Like, the second he gets Errol, like he would wrap his arms around him, throw him into the corner, and he would just unload.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff, man. Crazy. But yeah,
although I don't know if Dave Allen would hit him. I think Dave might be like. I really believe Dave's a nice guy, right? I don't think Dave Allen would even want to fight Errol, and if he had to, he probably wouldn't throw a punch.
It's true.
I think he might take a knee.
Oh God, do a Kell Brook. Oh Christ.
Yeah, but in the first round, without getting anything thrown on him, I think he'd just take the knee and just be like, "Nah, ain't hitting him." Because I've heard him literally say he won't spar with anybody who's below 195 pounds because he feels he's too big.
Really? That's interesting.
It's admirable.
It is. It's very admirable.
I mean, I'm different. I'm very different. If somebody says spar me, I'll fucking punch your head in. I'm gonna throw them into the ring. I don't care if they're 100 pounds or 290. I'm fucking taking their head off.
That's why you got to be, man, ruthless. Like, nah, but like, yeah. I mean, domestically, prospect wise, to me, like, I don't think he looks that great at the minute, personally.
Look, I'm not sold on Buatsi either.
I just see something in Boazzi. I don't know what it is.
Look, I see something in him too, but to me, and I'm going to stress this to everybody, we can think Buatsi's as good as we want. We can think Yarde's as good as we want. That division at championship level is fucking dangerous.
Yeah. It is.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think of Taylor's prospects at welter?
Yeah,
does he go? Is he going to be able to make 140 long enough to where he doesn't have to go to welter?
Here's what I'm going to say about that. Yeah, I need to see how good he is at 140 first. So I'm not getting on this hype train. Like I really rate him. I think he can win the World Boxing Super Series, but I need to see him in there with a pro grade. And after the tournament, I really want to see him fight Jose Ramirez.
Yeah,
fair enough. I guess the more germane question then would be: do you think he has to go to welter eventually, or is he going to be able to make 140 long enough to be,
I think
he's too big. I think he's too big.
Yeah,
I think eventually, after 2 or 3 years, it's just going to catch up with him.
He's got the frame to be a welterweight. I think anyway. And yeah, like McGregor said, I think eventually he's going to have to. Options are going to dry up at 140. Yeah, he'll go up there eventually. And I think he can make a success of it as well. I think he'll be decent.
I really want to see him in there with Jose Ramirez, but that has fight of the fucking century written all over it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Ramirez is, I think he's a bit better than people give him credit for.
He's phenomenal.
Just defensively, he's a bit open, but that'd be a great fight.
I don't care about defense. I'm a boxing fan.
That'd be a great fight, man. It'd be a great fight, but I think his defense will let him down against Taylor.
I say I don't care about defense, and my favorite fighter of all time is Pernell Whitaker.
Exactly. Pernell, though, like, he wasn't like defensive. He was defensive, but obviously he was defensive. But he could get offensive when he wanted to. Like, he could put his shots together, like blaring around speed. Yeah.
And Whitaker can hit a lot harder than he led you to believe.
Yeah. Look at the knockout against.
I always go to the Hurtado one.
Yeah. That's the
sick
one.
Knockout.
Yeah.
Sick knockout. Yeah, and he was struggling. He was struggling, and then he just got behind the eye guard and said, "Okay, fuck this."
Exactly. Like, he just adjusted, like, when he had to.
Yeah,
like.
and you just said the proper word. He just became ruthless. You could see he was trying to walk him down and knock his ass out.
He's a great fighter, man. Tremendous fighter.
Wasn't that right before the De La Hoya fight?
I think so. I've not watched Pernell's fights back for ages. I need to watch them now. He's a great fighter.
I still think he had. I don't think it was robbery that De La Hoya won, but I thought he had a fair argument in that fight.
Oh yeah, no, I thought he beat De La Hoya, and I thought he beat Chavez as well. He clearly beat Chavez.
Yeah, he clearly beat Chavez. That was easy. That was bad. That was a bad draw.
I've still not watched the Ramirez fight, the first fight he lost. I've not seen that. I need to YouTube it.
Over in France, I believe. That was a classic Lou Duva meltdown.
Was it robbery or?
I would lean towards that. Yeah, but Duva certainly he definitely thought it was a robbery.
Right. Let's just say Lou Duva reacted the same way Triple G fans reacted to the first fight against.
Yeah. Although to be fair, Duva more often than not thought any decision that went against his man was her opportunity.
Yeah.
Had a lot to say.
Oh, massively.
Yeah. What do you guys make of speaking of Golovkin? What do you make of his deal with DAZN? I think it's the right choice. Finally, Golovkin's making like the sensible choice.
Finally, in the geriatric years in boxing.
Yeah, it's frustrating to see that, to be honest. But
I've always had a problem with Tommy Boy. I call him Tom
yeah,
Loeffler.
Tom Loeffler. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't like him. I don't think he's well. He's done a good job because ultimately he's done a good job and he hasn't because making a guy from Kazakhstan a star in the US is no mean feat. He's done well, but at the same time, like certain fights should have really happened at certain times. We never really, we never
I
really,
said, I feel, I hate to, I don't, I'm not happy about it, but I feel somewhat vindicated because I said for a long time before the fact that chasing after Cannoli was going to prove to be a mistake in terms of his legs.
yep,
If I, and it was fighting Vaughnus, mistake. Should have fought for undisputed instead, and certainly should have defended his belt against Derevyanchenko, wasn't it? Right?
yeah, exactly.
Instead
I
of
agree.
fight Vaughnus.
I agree. But
Yo,
And instead, what did he get? He got a bunch of money, and he got a draw and a loss.
yeah, exactly. And if I was Golovkin, I feel I wouldn't. It's easy to say, and it's really easy to say in hindsight, but I don't think I'd have gone for the rematch with Canelo because you knew like any close fight's going to Canelo.
Del, do me a favor, yeah.
Yeah,
Say it to 900 plus thousand pay-per-view boys at $75 a pop.
no, it's true, man. No, I know what you mean, but like
He
Golovkin
made
knew.
over 20 million for that fight. He made over 20 million for the
Golovkin
fight.
knew what he was
Two
getting
fights,
into.
he made more money than he
That's
did in his entire career. Like at the end of the day.
that's why I phrased it as in terms. It was a mistake in terms of his legacy, not in
Yeah,
terms of his pocketbook.
yeah,
Obviously,
because Golovkin knew what he was getting into in the rematch. We saw how he got treated in the first fight. We saw the drug testing issues. He knew what he was getting into. He knew he wasn't going to get a fair
Yep.
shake, and he cashed out. And I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. I'm sure we would have all done it, but there was an alternative route. But it is what it
Yeah.
is.
And hey, it's not like it was physically easy, man. You saw his face afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Tough fight.
but as a fan, you know, if I would all day, I would have rather seen him fight Billy Ho,
Yeah,
Derevyanchenko, and throw the Lara fight, which I wanted to see for the longest. And those three fights I'd have rather seen, given the choice. But at the same time, I acknowledge he made more in the Canelo fights than all three of them combined.
yep. But even like you mentioned the fight with Varnes, like Andrade, he throwed his hat into the mix as well. I mean, I'd have watched
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And we now see it. That's what I'm hoping we get now that he's gone over to DAZN.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. I want to see that.
I want to let him fight Andre, and while we have Jacobs and Cannoli on the other side, and then the winners fight it out.
Yeah, I want to see how good Andrade is.
And for that matter, I wouldn't mind seeing the losers fight each other from that either, regardless of whoever whoever it might be, mix and match.
Yeah.
Do you know what else I want to see? I want to
Well,
see Daniel Jacobs at super middleweight against Canelo. That's what I really want to see.
If the first one's good, that could eventually happen too. Yeah.
Yep.
I also want to see Andrade at 154 versus Jarrah Hurd.
Or Jarrett Hurd at middleweight.
Yep.
Hey, that reminds me of the point me and McGregor have talked about a couple times, Del Boy. If this hypothetical here, if the Wilder thing happens with the zone, does that pave the way for potentially Charlo getting in the mix at middleweight?
I think so. Yeah, it's a good point actually. You'd hope so. You certainly hope so. I'm
There's
waiting.
some great fights to be made.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how good Charlo is. I just want to see him in there with a top middleweight.
Yeah.
And same with Andrade as well. I'm kind of waiting to see how good he is. That's why I want to see the Golovkin fight.
I want to see them fight each other.
Yeah, no, I'd watch that. It's a good fight.
Tremendous technical fight.
Yeah. I've got my doubts about Jamal to be honest, and both Charlos, but we'll see.
I believe in Jamal more than I do Jamel personally.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. He's more of a specimen. Like he's a bigger puncher. He's got better results as well. He beat Trout when Trout was still somewhat relevant. He beat Julian Williams. Yeah, Jamal's done more, I think. He's shown more to me anyway. But
Yeah, I want to say without having their resumes right in front of me, I want to say he's had the better opposition, like you kind of alluded to there.
yeah,
Trout, for example, I think Trout. I mean, heck, who would we compare to Trout that Jamel's fought?
it's a good point. No, hang on, didn't Jamel? Yeah, Jamel fought a shop-worn version of Trout.
That was after her. Yeah, after her,
Yeah,
he got his hands on him, wasn't it?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, nobody really. Erickson Lubin was a good win, but Lubin was very unproven. Yeah, there's nobody really you can put at that level.
John Jackson, maybe. I mean, John Jackson.
Yeah.
What John Jackson's claim to fame was he was punching up Andy Lee before Andy Lee right hooked the shit out of him.
Yeah, exactly. That's his claim to fame. John Jackson. Yeah. Okay.
And he was, and he didn't look the same to me after that knockout. Because in the fight with Andy Lee, he was switching stances and really putting it on him.
Yeah, he was beating Andy Lee up for a bit.
And he was showing a lot of dimensions to his game too. I thought, and then right hook drop.
Just bang! That's a nasty knockout.
Yeah.
That basically kind of just summarized Andy Lee's career. Just a gangly, awkward type of fighter where you could outbox him, you could beat him up, but if you walk onto that hook, it's over.
That was another fight I wanted to see him and Golovkin. I wanted to see Golovkin take for a long time. Was the Andy Lee fight?
I'm sure at one point that was supposed to happen.
It was talked about. Andy Lee was saying, he was saying all the right things, and because of his history, I believed him. He was saying, he wasn't going to try and win the points decision. He was going to try and knock him out. Yeah,
had been a good fight.
Yeah, and I like I said, I believe Andy Lee. I think he would have brought it and tried to knock him out. He wouldn't have been playing around in there.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And he could have done, because that right hook was sick. He could, you know what I mean? Anybody get caught with that in that middleweight range, they were in trouble.
Yeah, they're going to sleep. They are. And yeah, Lee was good. Lee was decent. He had that fight with Quillen as well. That's a good fight.
Korobov was another one where he was kind of getting, maybe not I don't think he was getting beat up as badly as John Jackson, but he was losing it. Yeah, and flipped it all around.
Yeah, Andy Lee was just a fun fighter.
I was shocked. Was anybody else as shocked as me when Billy Ho dropped him like he did?
I wasn't shocked just because Billy, he's a sharp puncher, but
is he one of them guys like Purnell where he can hit harder than he lets you believe?
Yeah, I think so, because he stopped Eubank Jr. in his tracks quite a few times in the first half of their fight. There's times when he stopped Eubank in his tracks, and Eubank's got a good chin. I think Billy can hit hard enough to keep you.
Would you say he's a guy that could have more KOs than he does if he wanted to?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, there's no reason why Billy Joe shouldn't be stopping people like Spike O'Sullivan. He's got the arsenal to do so, but he just plays it safe.
Heck, he could have. I think he could have, if he'd taken maybe a few risks, might have been able to stop Lemieux the way he was putting it on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's times in that fight where Lemieux, he was looking sorry for himself, to be honest. And
I mean, I knew Lemieux was one-dimensional going into the Golovkin fight, for example. I was not having that shit.
Yeah,
that was where one of the times me and the Golovtards parted ways. They were trying to prop him up as, proper opposition that has a chance. Yeah. And I was no, Lemieux had no chance. He had no chance in that shit. But Billy Ho, arguably, even though Golovkin stopped, Billy Ho made him look even worse.
Yeah, he did.
In terms of his limitations, yeah.
Yeah, he got exposed badly in both fights. Lemieux he is what he is, really. He's just a basic puncher, hooker. He's an honest pro, man. He'll come to fight. He's tough, but very limited. Very limited.
In hindsight, if it had happened, do you like Lara's chances better or worse? If it had happened
against Golovkin?
Yeah.
I would have picked Golovkin, to be quite honest. I mean, I've always felt Lara's kind of.
At the time, I was a big proponent of the fight because I think it was just a classic mix of styles, and I like both fighters. But I was like, I gave Lara a chance, but I thought Golovkin would get to him eventually.
Yeah,
But
I felt.
in hindsight, I give him a better shot than I would have at the time.
See, I felt Lara to me though, he's always been a guy who's he has struggled with pressure. So like the Angulo fight, like Angulo is a basic pressure fighter. He doesn't apply pressure well at all, and he gave Lara issues. Obviously, Hurd is a different type of pressure, but he kind of got on top of Lara, and even Castano last time out. I felt Castano gave Lara problems as well.
I thought he got robbed. I'll throw in the Paul Williams fight.
He did get
whatever.
Yeah,
but what difficulties he did have was, again. But see, to me, it's a double-edged sword. I agree; those are his hardest fights, but those are also his best fights.
Yeah,
when he's matched like that,
they were fun fights.
Even the last one with Castano, you match him with guys like that, his fights are going to be entertaining. At least for me, for my mind.
No, I enjoyed all of the fights. I really enjoyed that Castano fight.
And the Angulo fight, woo! That's a classic. That's a classic. And I did like the way that Lara had to really, dig down in that fight.
Yeah, because he was dropped quite hard. Angulo had success. Like, I mean, Angulo, good punch.
And Lara's another one I think that hits a little harder than he'd lead you to believe.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I felt Canelo was feeling some shots in their fight. Canelo wasn't exactly taking a massive amount of risks in certain rounds. When Lara started to piece him up, he looks quite effective, to be honest. But yeah, I remember Lara on the come up, and he was knocking people out on
Ronald Hearns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was knocking people out. I think he was like on ESPN on Friday Night Fights back in the day. He was knocking people out, and he's certainly got power. He's got some sort of power, because if you don't have any power, Jarrett Hurd is going to stop you. He's just going to walk right through you. But he managed to.
Yeah. He gave. I thought he gave a good account of himself in that one.
Yeah, I felt the decision was right. I know a lot of people felt Lara won, but I felt Hurd just about edged it. But he certainly gave Hurd a tough fight.
Yeah, like you say, the Hurd's not easy to get respect from at all.
No, exactly. At 154, it's hard to see how he makes weight, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, for much longer, at least, if anything. He's already talked about moving to middleweight a few times. And before we move on, the Hurd fight, another one of Lara's most entertaining fights by far.
Yep, no, that's a great fight. And that's going to be interesting, actually, when Jarrett Hurd moves up, because his advantages aren't going to be quite as apparent, and he's going to be facing bigger punchers. It's going to be interesting to see how he can kind of bridge that gap in going up in weight. Wonder how it works out. I don't think he'll be quite as effective for some reason. I don't think he's got the boxing skills to fall back on.
Yeah. He's going to have, we just mentioned, the Lara fight was excellent. He had his, it was close, I thought. And I think if he fights a guy like Jacobs, that's a tough road to hoe. You know what I mean?
I would imagine Canelo versus Jarrett Hurd.
Oh, now that's excellent though. I think that's entertaining.
It'd be very entertaining, but I think Canelo would just tee off on him.
At least though the stature he isn't going to face the stature limitations.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean Canelo's a big guy. I shouldn't say always. Sometimes I get into it with some people. To me they misconstrue height with size.
Yeah,
mass versus density, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like Sean Porter, I've always insisted he's a big dude. Just because he's short, you know what I mean? He's a big dude. He has to squeeze down to 147.
I mean, he missed weight today, didn't he, Sean Porter?
I guess he finally made it in the end.
Yeah,
but he missed it initially, yeah.
Yeah, big guy. Jarrett Hurd, he's kind of, I suppose you'd say he's the closest thing we have to Margarito today. Like he's that similar sort of style, just.
Yeah, he's not evil like Margarito.
Margarito would take your ears off, man.
Talk about vicious.
Sebastian Lujan and obviously the Cotto fight. was mentioning that earlier. Like people were talking about,
fucked up Six Heads Lewis.
yeah, people were talking about great welterweight fights, and Cotto Margarito. That was a tremendous fight. But
Yeah, Cotto's Revenge the second time was excellent too, for that matter. Who else did he? Martinez, wasn't it? Sergio Martinez.
Sergio Martinez, yeah, very early in his career. Yeah, he knocked him out. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought from that fight, like, who would have thought Sergio Martinez would have gone on to have, like, a very good career? You wouldn't have thought it from looking at that fight.
You wouldn't have thought a cyclist would have had it coming into his career, wouldn't have. He had like a late start, wasn't it? Late 20s or even maybe 30ish.
He started late, yeah, but he made a real success of it. That's why it's like it can be done. I mean, we was talking about Anthony Yarde earlier. I mean, he had a late start. He started boxing at 19, and like, kind of makes me bad for being so harsh on him. But at the same time, you know, when you're saying you're going to fight Kovalev next, you've got to be judged to a certain standard, I suppose.
Well, and that doesn't. I don't think it does. I don't think it does. You know, and this goes back to like Golovkin and my problems with Tommy Boy. I don't think it does the fighter any favors when you wait so long to step them up to somebody that actually has a chance against them.
No.
You know, and it also doesn't help when you make the gap so gigantic between the guys they've been fighting and then you pitch them in the deep end, so to speak. Right? You know, after they've been fighting bum, here's Kovalev. You know, I don't, like I said in the chat, I don't trust Kovalev anymore. Like even the Alvarez fight, I saw signs of, you know, the same shit that he showed in the Ward fight, where he's complaining to the ref about perfectly good body shots.
Yeah.
But you know, Kovalev, he still can win fights, and I could see him outworking. I could easily see him outworking Yarde. Just stylistically,
I think so as well. I think he'd outbox him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would look a lot like the Alvarez fight, perhaps even.
Yep.
You know, some people might even argue more one-sided. I don't have as good, being an American, I don't have as good of a read on Yarde as you guys might have.
To be honest, I don't think anybody has a clue how good he is just because of the level of competition he's been facing.
Yeah. Like even today, I found myself wondering, okay, how much of, you know, I think you said this in your post-fight, how much of what I'm seeing is just him not respecting the opponent, and how much of it is actual potential technical deficiencies?
Yeah, it's hard because some fighters, you know, they do kind of just find that next gear when they step up. But is Yarde one of those guys? I mean, it's hard to say. From an outsider looking in,
does he fight to the level of competition?
Yeah, exactly.
That's often a thing I notice with, as much as I love them, the Cuban fighters. Often a lot of them will fight up or down to whatever, you know, the level of competition they're in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's just, for me, it's like from an outsider looking in, it just seems like they're hiding something. Like his team are hiding something and they know something that we don't. That's what it seems like as an outsider looking in. Maybe he's got a bad chin, maybe his stamina's bad, I don't know. But it just seems like they're hiding something. But I'm sure they've got...
Who would you say of the light heavyweights Bob has would be, we'll just say, use that hypothetical, since he was on ESPN, I assume that's the end game. Who would be, out of the guys he's got at light heavyweight, who do you think would be the best combination of step up but still winnable for him? Out of, like, say, like, who's over there? It's Bivol, Kovalev, obviously, Alvarez, and I think there's maybe one or two others I'm not.
Beterbiev.
Beterbiev, yeah. Out of those four, let's say.
To be honest, out of all the champions,
let's throw Sullivan Barrera. Let's throw Sullivan in Barrera, since that's been talked about.
Yeah, I would like the Barrera fight. I think it would tell us a lot. I think that's a really good fight. I think it's very risky in comparison to his previous competition. But
any of those is a big risk, aren't they? Even Alvarez is a big risk.
Yeah, it'll tell us a lot though if he got in there with one of those guys. But
Barrera might know too much, even though he's who knows how old.
Yeah, no, he's a solid boxer in his own right. Barrera does the basics well, and he carries a bit of power.
Yeah, I didn't think he was. I thought obviously he lost, but I thought he acquitted himself well, even against Ward.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, and somebody in the chat made a good point. Abstract Boxing. He was talking about Yarde's power. It looks good against low-level fighters, but what happens when he steps up? Is that power going to be as effective as apparent. That's a good point. Maybe his power's not as good as it looks, but yeah, Yarde is just very unproven. Very unproven.
And I think that's a common problem. There seems to be the pattern. They build these guys up on bum competition, and then they pitch them in the deep end,
Yeah.
and it's like you're going up a set of stairs, and they cut out 6 or 7 steps in a row and tell you make that jump, right?
Exactly. No, it's Frank Warren knows what he's doing. He's good at guiding fighters, but it just doesn't look right from an outsider looking in. I hope Yard does well. The more contenders, the merrier.
But
But
the longer they wait to step him up, the worse it's going to be for him at this point.
yeah, I do think the pressure is starting to mount, though. I think they realise they need to do something soon, and I do honestly think we'll get something this year. I think we'll see Yard in what we deem as a risky fight this year. I do think so.
Do you think it'll be as big a step as say the likes of an Alvarez / Barrera, or something below that?
Maybe like a Barrera if we're lucky. Something like that. Somebody mentioned Chilemba. I think that'd be a good shout.
I think that'd be that's like clearly I think maybe you disagree. I think that's to me a step below them guys, but still a big step up.
Yeah,
it's still a huge step up from what he's been doing.
Yeah, and Chilemba, I mean, even if you beat Chilemba, you might look horrible doing it. So
he's going to learn a lot.
Yeah. It's like I was saying with Daniel Dubois. I mean, he fought Kevin Johnson. People didn't really. They thought he looked quite bad, but he learned a lot in that fight, fighting like a cagey defensive veteran. And
let's win today. Look better next time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, so he fought Johnson, looked pretty average, but in the next fight against another cagey guy in Cojanu, you could tell Dubois actually learned something in that previous fight. Dubois was going to the body, he was doing different things, and yeah, you could tell that Johnson fight was positive for him. So
and I don't obviously triangle theories and all that, but hey, you can say he did as good as Ortiz at the least.
Yeah, exactly. It's impressive. That's all. Yeah. That's all these young pros can do, really.
And I mean, hey, I agree with what you guys were saying about Ortiz. That's my favorite heavyweight, but I'm the last person to say he's the best heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
But he's just my favorite, right? But he's a high level operator. I think we all agree.
Yep. I like Ortiz. My thing with Ortiz is it's just so hard to see what he has left. I think he's declining.
Oh yeah, and let's I can be honest. Some people do take it a little too far.
Yeah,
I can't go as far as second best heavyweight, for example. Like I've heard some people say. I do think he's top. I think he's top 5, but I agree with all what you guys were saying. He's 4 or 5.
Right around that area. Yeah. I mean, the fight I still really want to see, and we're not going to get it, is Ortiz versus Povetkin. I think that'd be tremendous.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's right about his. That's right about where I rank him. Povetkin maybe in there 6, 7.
That fight makes a lot of sense because they're both old guys. Both guys are one loss away from retirement. Just make them fight each other. Loser leaves town.
Loser leaves town.
Yeah, the winner can then go on to have a big fight because he's earned it. Just get them to fight each other. It's a great fight. Somebody's getting knocked out, I'm sure of it. So let's get it on.
And hey, for all the frankly often tedious talk, I mean tedious from all sides, about AJ and Wilder, all these other heavyweights, Ortiz, Parker, Dillian, Chisora, if he's going to carry on, and we could name more. They need to mix and match one.
Yeah, they need to start fighting. I mean,
about Parker Ortiz, that'd be fantastic too.
Yeah, Parker Ortiz. I mean, Dillian. He has done, since his Joshua defeat, he has done a bit of work. I'll give him credit. He beat Parker, fair enough. He beat Chisora again in the rematch. That's fair enough. But it does kind of look like he's playing safe. He's not taking certain eliminators like the Ortiz fight and the Pulev fight. So I kind of find it hard to get behind him when he says he's being isolated and, he's kind of saying he's being left out in the cold. But, well, he turned down eliminators. I mean, what does he expect? Do you know what I mean? He. And that's another thing. I still want to see White versus Ortiz. It's a great fight.
That fight makes so much sense in terms of the in my view, the hierarchy of the heavyweights right now. That does it. That fight and the Povetkin fight makes so much sense.
And at that point, like the winner of White Ortiz, I think everybody could agree, regardless of who they support, the winner of that fight deserves a title shot. Like, just
they would have. Whoever does that wins that has done what they need to do to get back. That's totally fair. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. But Dillian,
you know what else I would? I tell you what, I would, just from a stylistic point of view, I would also enjoy the hell out of even Chisora Ortiz.
That'd be a good fight.
Because Chisora is a perfect stylistic mesh, don't you think? With Ortiz,
he should make Ortiz look good. But the only thing is, like, if Ortiz can't get him out of there and down the stretch, it could be tough on him. You know, with his
that's what makes it good. That's what makes it good. You know, because I think Ortiz looks his worst when he's got to go find people.
Yeah, it's a good observation. It's like the Malik Scott fight. He looked horrible in that fight.
It doesn't do him any favors. It's that you could if you want to say a Cuban thing or whatever, but if you put him in there, if you matchmake them with the guys that like a Chisora that's going to come to him, the fight's going to be much more entertaining.
I'll be honest.
This is what it is.
I enjoyed that Christine Hammer fight. That was a much better fight than I expected.
I was just unsurprised by people's reactions. A lot of people thought it was, a very, very poor performance, or some people thought it was boring, and I was kind of like,
I don't think it's boring.
I didn't think it was boring either, but I wasn't surprised that some people did. I kind of thought that was most likely going to be the case going in.
The thing is, Christian Hammer, he is limited, but he did actually have a good amateur background. He's quite tough, And
he's been in there with quite a few dudes, isn't he?
Yeah, Povetkin. He went the distance with Povetkin. He fought Fury. He got stopped by Fury, but he beat David Price and Christian Hammer.
Yeah, that was a very entertaining fight, actually.
That's a great fight. I remember that fight. That's a really good fight. That is a typical David Price fight. He knocks down his opponent, hurts his opponent, and gets knocked out.
Car crash boxing, man. That's
exactly.
Car crash boxing. Yeah.
We were saying it earlier, like David Price. I'm always going to watch him fight, regardless of who he fights, where he fights. I'm watching.
Yeah. Dude, him and Khan double bill, and just add water.
Exactly, you're getting your money's worth regardless. Like, it's like when Povetkin Price happened. Everybody, a lot of people over here were like, it's a unsafe match.
Well, that was the sleeper attraction. That was
exactly.
If you know what's up, that was what you were really in
exactly.
And it gave us exactly what we expected. Pricey nearly gets him out of there. Didn't get fucked up.
It's just amazing. Like you just. I'm going to miss him when he retires. I really am. I'm going to miss David Price.
Yeah, for sure, man. We appreciate guys like Yarde and Ward. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the Tony Thompson fights. I remember winning money on both fights. The way he turned his back in the second fight. Was it the second fight? Oh God, just watching that, man. Yeah.
Or the Erkin Tepper knockout.
Oh, that was a bad knockout as well.
They're all bad knockouts.
The Tepper one, I don't know, but I'd say the Povetkin one was worse, but the Tepper one was bad. Like, just how he was laying in the corner. That's a bad knockout.
It was a bit like the Khan Prescott one.
Yeah. He was laying in the corner. He's got a fight coming up soon, Price. He's fighting some guy called Cash Ali. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
I think I've heard Mr. Boxing Today talk about him. I can't remember exactly what he had to say.
He's fairly limited from what I've seen, but he's unbeaten, so he's going to go in there with confidence and he'll give it a go. And that's all you need with David Price. Just give it a go, try and land on the chin, see what happens. But that's going to be fun.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't pull out like in the was that his last fight, Pricey?
Oh yeah, Kuzmin. I think it was his last fight.
That was the only time I've been disappointed by Price.
Yeah, that is horrible. Like he was actually boxing fairly well in that fight as well. For
Yeah, it
David
wasn't
Price.
bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I don't rate that Kuzmin. I don't think he'll go very far. I think he's pretty basic. I think he's fighting tomorrow night on one of the undercards, Kuzmin.
Well, speaking of stoppages, what did you think of the stoppages today? The who was it? Liam Williams, and then vis-a-vis the Yarde stoppage.
I don't. That referee on the Williams one was just.
I was joking in Beats' hangout. That was an American stoppage because everybody there's always people talk about UK stoppages.
Yeah.
At least they do over here. That was an American stoppage.
Yeah, that was a Steve bloody Smoger stoppage. That was
crying. Yeah. There you go. Exactly. That's our poster boy. I'd say. and I can't. I won't lie. I had no problem with it. I had no problem with it.
No, it's one. It's listen, man. It's good. It's good to see knockouts, but that ref, I think he might have let it go a bit too much. But
well, hey, I won't lie. What I'm getting at is that is American sensibility. There is a bit of a difference. I'm not saying it's good or bad.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree.
Like Smoger is by a lot of boxing fans, Smoger's beloved over here.
Yeah, I like Smoger. I like it when fights are let to go on a bit longer. Like we do get far too many bad stoppages in this country.
I'll tell you, the one time Smoger kind of made me cringe was the Tapia Kirkland fight, because the way he jumped in, he later made it so that Tapia was defenseless for the last punch or two.
Yeah, Tapia. You could tell Tapia had nothing left, and he just took far too much.
Yeah, and I think he wrapped his arms around Tapia's arms, and Kirkland got that one last shot in, and he just sagged. Sagged like he was dead.
And the Yarde stoppage was a bit premature in my opinion. I felt it would have been nice to have seen Yarde, get a clean knockout. But yeah, I felt bad.
You kind of. My first thought was okay that they after the Liam Williams thing, they were going to be extra cautious and make sure that it wasn't any.
Yeah, no, that was a bad stoppage. I think the guy was done, but I want to see a knockout. Bad stoppage in my opinion.
They were probably both equally suboptimal. I'll say. I won't say bad stoppages, but suboptimal stoppages. You know what I mean? One on each side of the point. It kind of just depends where your sensibilities are.
Yeah, that's true. But no, what do you make of the fights tomorrow? Porter, Ugas.
I guess my only question now, I didn't really have much doubt going in up to this point, but now it's like, is Porter going to be a little compromised?
Yeah, exactly.
After struggling with the weight, because he's always been tight at the weight.
Yeah, and as when McGregor was on, he pointed out on another stream, Ugas can work the body. He is quite good down to the body. So
yeah, and he's an aggressive Cuban fighter. He's not a back foot style Cuban fighter.
If he can make it tough on Porter, it could be interesting. But historically, Porter's always been good in terms of stamina, so I don't think it will affect him too much.
Although the one time he looked maybe, I won't say even chinny, but when Broner dropped him so heavy, it was when he was a little bit tight. You had to match him at like a catchweight, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point actually. That's a good point. But yeah, I'm still going with Porter. I think Porter on points or even a late stoppage in that one.
Yeah. That's logic tells me that. There's that niggling question in the back of my mind. It really comes down to how compromised he is. Ugas's chances.
I do think Ugas is pretty good though. He's quite decent. He's coming off some good wins.
Useful, and I've liked Ugas since I've seen him fight on ESPN against Amir Imam. I thought he had an argument against Imam.
Yeah.
I mean, that was only like an 8-rounder, but
Yeah. He's done well. He's done well to recover from those early defeats. And what I like about it, it's nice to see, obviously at welterweight, I mentioned this earlier, welterweight, the division's kind of guilty of recycling the same fighters. So it's kind of nice to see a different fighter get a title shot, to be honest. Someone different.
Yeah, not quite as bad as heavyweight division, but those guys they should have been mixing it, a couple years ago.
Yeah,
and these guys are getting to be 30-ish, and yeah, we've seen Thurman against Garcia and Porter, and we got Porter and Garcia. Fair enough, but I mean, by the time they're in their 30s, we should have seen a lot more than that.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
there should be a consensus welterweight by now, a consensus number one. But
yep.
But there's not, man.
Do you think that Thurman's past? I mean, I think Thurman's he could still be very good, but I think, do you think he's past his best, like I do? I'll say it like past his peak. That'd be a better way to say it. Past his peak. So I don't want to say shot or anything like that. Just I think go ahead.
I think you could be right. I kind of see him how I see Beterbiev. So Beterbiev, I just think we missed his prime because of obviously promotional issues, and with Thurman, I think injuries have kind of robbed us of his best years. I think he could be a bit not quite what he was. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I know it was his first fight back, but the Lopez fight was shocking.
Oh yeah,
it was shocking.
I felt Thurman looked good in the first sort of 2 to 3 rounds. When he was fresh, he looked quite powerful. Looked fairly dynamic.
Yes, I'd agree.
As the fight went on, it looked
the legs just like you can tell the legs have aged a bit. I think.
Yeah, to me, the telling thing for me was, do you know when you look at fighters and sometimes you get the impression that they just want the fight to be over. That's what Thurman kind of.
Yeah.
That's how he looked to me.
Yeah, he was getting slapped around the ring, man.
Yeah, he just wanted it to be over.
Yeah, and I'm not one to say, I'm not saying it should have been stopped, but I will say what I've heard a lot of people say, which is if the roles had been reversed, and that was Thurman doing that to Lopez, they probably would have stopped it.
Yeah, and if that was in the UK, mate, that would have been stopped.
There you go, yeah.
But, it's a shame. I hope we get a big fight next. I hope, even if it's just Porter Thurman rematch, even if it's that, I'll take that right now, to be honest.
Yeah. Spence is really the one that needs to mix it.
Yeah.
With somebody over there, or somebody, you know what I mean? Somebody in this weight class.
Yeah, I believe Spence will be the guy who comes out on top of it all, if I had to bet. But
you people see, the thing I don't like about it is you're going to have some people that are going to say, well, they kind of took it out of each other, and then he swooped in. Regardless of whatever the truth may be, I'm not saying.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even though he's been calling for the fights, people are still going to say, well, he got them towards the end. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I guess when I say that, I mean historically, once their careers are over, all people are going to see when they look back is, okay, when did they fight? That kind of stuff. And they're going to see he fought, a lightweight, Mikey Garcia, while they were fighting each other.
It's a good point. And hopefully, the fight I want to see from Spence next, and I know it's not going to happen. I'd love to see just Spence versus Crawford. I think that's a tremendous fight. But,
yeah, that's the other tiresome debate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's like one of those things where I just, I want to see the fight. So if nothing else, the tedious arguments will be over one way or the other.
Do you think Crawford is going to get any of these fights? I can't see it right now. I really can't. Unfortunately.
I'm not gonna. It's after all we've been through. It's a bit like I'm a bit too cynical. Just like I put that one, the Spence fight, in there with AJ Wilder. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
But I think I believe look, I talk a lot of shit universally about promoters. I believe they're really where the rubber meets the road and where fans should be applying the pressure to get what we want. I believe Bob Arum when he says that he's going to be throwing some money around, or trying to at least. Yeah. And I gotta believe, again, Spence thing, I'll believe it when I see it. But somebody's going to bite on that kind of an offer. If he's offering like 10 to 15 million, I gotta believe somebody that we want to see, whether it's Porter, Danny Garcia, Thurman, even I guess Pacquiao, whoever, right?
Yeah,
somebody along them lines. Like I always joke with EJ, like the $1 million man. Everybody's got a price. Everybody's going to pay. Every boxer's got a price where they will fight. They'll acquiesce and get in the ring with whoever.
Yeah, that's true. But I hope we see these fights. I do, but I just have my doubts. I think what will happen, obviously, we've got Khan Crawford coming up. Crawford's going to beat Khan, and then we'll get Crawford versus Kavalauskas. I think that's what's going to happen personally, but
that's the was he Ukrainian?
Yeah, Lithuanian, I believe.
Lithuanian, okay.
Yeah, he's a decent fighter, but it's just like
not what we want. It's not what we want, Bob.
Yeah, so it could be a good fight. So, I mean, Kavalauskas, good amateur, done everything right as a pro so far, but we don't know how good he is. If Kavalauskas could have had a good fight in the interim, like maybe Louis Collazo, I mean, at least it tells us something about Kavalauskas, how good he is. We don't even know how good he is.
It'll be a bit like the Benavidez fight, huh?
Yeah, because Benavidez,
a useful guy, but nothing to, it's not a resume maker.
No, but if Kavalauskas actually, like even beat a Collazo, at least it gives Kavalauskas some type of credibility, and Crawford will get some type of credit for beating him. Because I mean, Crawford, he didn't get any credit for beating Benavidez, and if we're going to be honest about it, why should we really? I mean,
yeah, it's not a legacy maker. It's not a legacy maker. I mean, it's used, like I said. I hear you guys use the term useful. I'd put him in that category. Useful.
Yeah, I'd agree. To be honest, I'd agree.
Who is there though? If we're gonna say we write off the PBC guys, so you got to take Manny, Thurman, Porter, and Spence out of the equation. That welterweight, or around that weight even. Who is there?
I suppose you could say Kell Brook. I know he's saying he could still make welterweight. That's the only big name, really.
Is he going to get much more credit than he will for Khan, given he's viewed as damaged goods, Kell Brook?
Oh yeah, he won't. I think he'd get more credit for beating Brook than Khan, but still, the point remains he's seen as damaged goods.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, this is one I've heard a couple people mention Josh Taylor, since we mentioned him, potentially moving eventually to 147. Just for doing hypotheticals.
Yeah, no, that could be one.
Because I mean, you almost have to look at some 140 guys, don't you?
Or Josh Kelly. If Josh Kelly actually, picks up a few more wins, gets ranked and turns into a contender, then Josh Kelly, that's that fight would be big over here. It'd do some numbers, and yeah, that could work as well. Josh Kelly.
Or who do we mention? What's that guy's name? The from Spain.
Oh,
you mentioned you think he'd punch up Broner.
Oh, Lezaraga.
Yeah. What do you think? What about that?
I would personally give him credit and watch it if that fight.
He might not. It might. Maybe not. The casual fan's not going to probably give him a lot of credit over here.
They won't.
But if you're in the know, that is, I'd say that's a good, solid fight. Better. Yeah. Would you say he's a better win than Benavidez?
I would say. Is he a better win than Benavidez?
Oh, yeah. Better. More to the point, is he a better win from a physical challenge standpoint than Khan?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Actually.
That's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, because let's say Amir Khan versus Kerman Lajaraga. I mean, what happens there? Would Khan get knocked out?
Khan. I think I'm going to say what I usually say. Khan's winning until he gets knocked out.
I mean, if Lajaraga connects on the chin, Khan is going. He's getting knocked out. So.
Yeah, our body shots for that matter. I like Lajaraga's body shots.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think
Lajaraga beats everybody from 130 to 700 pounds.
Jesus.
But seriously, McGregor, how would you rate that? That if Crawford, how would you rate that as a win for Crawford?
I don't care.
Indifferent.
I don't care about these guys who are a name, but they're finished. I said this about Broner.
No. Lazaraga against.
Oh, I see where he's going. He's saying he's going to beat up Crawford.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Crawford against Khan.
No. Lariaga versus not Lariaga versus
Crawford
Lariaga
against
versus Crawford.
Laharaga?
Yeah.
If he beat him, I'd say it's a good win. I mean, Laharaga, he comes to fight. He's tough. He's a tough customer. He's got ambition. He's European champion. It's not a bad win.
Outside of the PBC welters, who's the best fight in your opinion for Crawford? Just if you could have anybody outside of the PBC welters.
Don't they have most of the welters?
That's kind of we go. So
outside of the champions,
outside of
Kavalauskas,
Thurman Porter,
Kavalauskas or Laharaga.
That's kind of the conclusion we had on Del Boy.
Yeah, exactly. We're saying basically, if Crawford can't get these big fights at welterweight with the PBC guys, what can he do? Who can he fight?
He can move down to 140 pounds and fight Jose Ramirez and give me what I want.
He would toy with Jose.
Would he? Would he be able to deal with that amount of volume and his chin? Because Jose's got a chin.
I think he would. I think he'd beat him.
No.
Does it have to be at 140 for it to be a good fight, McGregor?
Oh, I'd like to see it at 122. I'm sorry about the way I'm talking, man. I've decided I'm going to fake being a casual to bring people into a false sense of security.
Fair play. But, yeah, I mean, Crawford doesn't have many options. Let's be honest about it.
I don't care. Am I the only one who just doesn't care about all the options and the political shit? I just don't care. I'll tell you what. Every PBC fighter, guess what? Wilder just admitted you're a free agent. Yeah?
Good.
You get offered fucking 10 million to go over there and fight Terence Crawford, and you're not doing it because you want to make 3 million to fight somebody easier. That's your fault. So I don't care.
Yeah, Bob and Al, I don't want to hear their fucking business.
I don't want to hear this again, Doc. Doc, I don't want to hear it again.
You're going to hear it.
They have to sit down. They have to sit down and make the voice. No, fuck them.
No, shame on them.
Fuck the lot of them.
I agree.
I don't even want to say shame. They're not worthy of it. Fuck them. Fuck the lot of them. Fuck all the fighters talking about the fights that they want to have. Fuck the promoters fucking saying that they want to make these fights. And fuck the fans for believing in it. Fuck a lot of it.
Fuck every single person in boxing. Pretty much.
Except you guys. You guys are cool.
Nah, man. I know what you mean. It does get a bit. Well, it gets tiresome.
Yeah. Tedious, bro. It's tedious.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now. I wake up every day and I go and like whenever I enter a hangout, yeah. Guess what happens? I'm talking about a fight that's not fucking happening.
Or inevitably, I'm talking about money and promoters and etc.
Who's right? Who's wrong? Oh, Eddie Hearn said this. Let's believe Eddie because he doesn't lie. Oh, Shelley Finkel, let's believe him. He's never lied. Oh, let's believe Al. He never said anything. I don't care.
So bad. That makes my head hurt so bad when I hear people talk like they're fans.
Let's get into the reality. Let's get into a bit of reality right now. Joshua's fighting Miller. Garcia's fighting Spence. Khan's fighting Crawford. That's the fights that we have at the moment. We've got Ugas against Porter. That's what we have. Like, let's enjoy Ugas Porter. We've got Bivol against Joe Smith Jr. as well. That's a good fight. Let's enjoy the fights that we have. Let's stop talking about fucking Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford when we all know it's going to happen in 2027 when Terence Crawford has had 2 face transplants and Errol Spence has already broken 19 ribs.
And it'll happen at 160.
Yeah. And to be fair, we've got some good fights in the World Boxing Super Series coming up.
We have some fucking amazing fights.
I'm actually really hyped. Series. I'm hyped for Tete versus Donaire. I think you could see an upset in that. I really do. I think.
Do you know what has me hyped?
Really good fight. Go on.
Honestly, I just like Breedis Glavatsky and what's his face to beat Ian Dorticus.
Yeah, Dorticus and Tabiti. That's a good fight. Tell us a lot.
I just like all these fights.
Dorticus is another one that from what I've seen of him, seems to fight up or down to the level of competition. Because I felt in the last fight in the first round he fought down to the competition because he had that guy I thought kind of going and didn't step on the gas and he kind of let him back. He let him turn it into a hard fight.
Yeah.
Masterneck is a tough opponent.
Yeah, Masternak, he gave Bellew a tough fight.
He gives everybody a tough fight, man. He's just awkward and difficult. He's a better version of Christian Hammer.
Yeah. And yeah, Dorticos versus Tabiti. That fight is going to tell us all we need to know about Tabiti.
About both
first
guys.
of all,
About
it'll
both guys.
test the chin. It'll test his energy levels. It'll test a lot of things.
I think
His patience.
I think Tabiti does have potential. I think he's a good fighter, but it's a big step up.
I think he's getting stopped.
Do you think?
That's what I think. I think Dorticus is going to land flush on that fucking no head, no feet movement, and he's going to get smacked through the ring with no fucking balance and is fucking sitting back, leaning on the ball of his foot constantly. He's going to get his head taken off against a puncher who has accuracy, and Dorticus has that.
It's going to be fun watching. It's going to be very fun watching.
Oh, I'm going to be sitting back, leaning backwards, saying, and this is why cruiserweight doesn't matter in America.
Yeah, and you've got also on the World Boxing Super Series, you've got Relic versus Prograis. That's a really
good fight.
Really good fight. I think
everybody's like Prograis is going to win this fight, right? Sure, maybe he will win it. But what I'm going to say is, don't underestimate Carol Relic. He's a good fighter, very good fighter.
He shouldn't have a defeat on his resume. He's undefeated in my book.
My book too. I agree with you completely.
He beat Ricky Burns. He beat Barthélemy. Yeah,
beat both of them quite easily, actually. But
yeah, I thought the Barthélemy was close, but I had no problem if people thought he won. I thought that was close.
Yeah,
it was close to some people. I gave it 8-4.
I wouldn't argue with 8-4.
Didn't both guys get dropped in that first fight?
Yes, yeah.
I remember now.
And I for sure.
Do you know who else got dropped in that fight?
At 135.
Yeah.
Do you know who else got dropped in that fight?
Go on.
One of my mates, because he literally, when he heard the decision, he jumped out of his chair and he banged his head off of like the ceiling, like because he leaped out of the chair. Right, he stood onto the chair and leaped, smacked his head on the ceiling, and was knocked clean the fuck out.
Jesus. Does anybody think Danair can upset Tete?
Yeah, it's a possibility. Why not? Nonito's proven.
He's still got that. Still got that puncher's chance to.
And we don't know how good Tete is. Who the fuck's he beat?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Tete, in his last fight against Aloyan, I felt he looked fairly...
Didn't Aloyan have 2 fights or something?
Yeah, he looked a bit ordinary, yeah.
Didn't Aloyan have like 2 fights, though?
Yeah, he had like 3 or 4 fights. He's very unproven. And yeah.
Other than that, what's he done? He's knocked a guy out very quickly, and then what? What's he done?
Who's a new fighting?
Oh,
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, yeah.
That's Emmanuel, isn't it? Emmanuel Rodriguez?
Emmanuel, yeah. That's a decent fight as well. I think Inoue should have too much fight.
Inoue wins by Bruce Lee.
that's probably the most easily predictable fight out of the whole series, out of either one, the cruiserweights or the flies.
No, it's not. Dartic is stopping Tabiti is.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. I think Tabiti has a chance. I do.
Do you? Well, when he gets absolutely punched through the canvas, yeah, I'll be coming onto your thing saying, "You said he had a chance. You said he had a chance."
I'm not picking him. But he's got a chance. I think he hits hard enough to have a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, he hits hard enough. Yeah, he definitely does, doesn't he? He hits harder than Gassiev.
Dorticos kind of fades if you don't get you out of there in the first half.
He's getting Tabiti out of there.
Because I thought he started well against Gassiev even, but faded.
I saw everything wrong with Tabiti in that fight against Faber.
It's a good shout, actually. I'm going to call this one, by the way. It's 3:20 over here. Probably
it is
come again tomorrow. Yeah, I might do a stream tomorrow for the fight. I don't know yet. But yeah, no, thank you guys for joining, for turning out.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
No, that's cool. And yeah, all invited again, man. Of course. Yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, I didn't realize it was going that long, to be honest.
That's what happens when you start talking.
Yeah, man. I know. Tell me about it. But yeah, watch the boxing tomorrow. I might do a stream. I don't know yet, to be honest. The thing is with tomorrow, I need to find a stream for the boxing. There's no TV channel picked it up in the UK.
Mate, All you need to do is tweet me. I'll give you a stream.
You sort me out. No, fair play. Fair play. No, cool. Have a good evening, lads. Probably come on again tomorrow. Cool.
Right on, man.
No doubt.
Peace.
No guys in the chat.